Listen, listen, listen. Welcome to Monday Night Toy Ramblings, where I will ramble on for, well, I'm not sure if you're going to get 3 hours out of me, because really there is very, very little toy news, but there's always something to talk about. So I wanted to come on here, talk about maybe this this beast that came in for many of us last week, the Dragonfly. Get a little bit more work out of it. I think I've got a lot of content so far out of it. Why not push it another day? See what else we can do. And besides, is there anything else to talk about? I mean, I could go on and be a drama channel like so many, but let's get away from that for at least a little bit. I think there's more than enough of that. And if you guys want to find drama, find yourself to another channel where clearly it is still going to go on till probably the day we all die. Anyway, thank you guys all for tuning in. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. And I had a pretty good weekend. It was a beautiful weekend here in Michigan in the 50s. It was nice to go out there. Didn't need a jacket or anything like that. But to start off, I think we all watched, or shall I say, we all tried to watch on Netflix the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight. Now, I'm not going to talk about the fight, what I think about it, because it is what it is. But I want to be the first to never, ever, ever apologize again for having a shitty connection, a shitty stream, because it's never been as bad as the Jake Paul Tyson fight. And let's be honest, there's like maybe 100 people that watch this show live, where they had like, I don't know, 500 million trying to watch. It's some crazy number. And no one in Netflix said, hey, you know what? We probably should have done a few test runs through this. Maybe see if our servers can do it. But I got to say, the memes that are coming out of it, the reels that are coming out of it, are probably about as good as when Joe Biden, when Obama left office, and all the memes of him having to explain to Joe Biden that they no longer live in the White House, that they're going to be leaving. No, this is not political. But if you remember back, what is now 8 years, those memes were absolutely hilarious. But hey, now we have the new Jake Paul Tyson Netflix ones that I think that are pretty amusing. But we watched it with my daughter. Got to explain some things to her, kind of explain why everyone cares so much about Mike Tyson, what we used to see, and kind of explain to her, like, you know, the guy can still hit, but, you know, when you're fighting a punching bag that doesn't hit back, it's much easier to throw a lot of power. Let's be honest, if that guy punched any of us, we would all go down. But we watched a lot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I know I've mentioned this before. We're finally done with season 3, where now Angel is going off. He has his own series. So I've told my daughter, we have to now watch it. I've looked up what the order is, because there's crossovers. So I'm like, we're going to have to be watching it in the order that it says to. So that's going to be interesting. So now we're going to be watching 2 shows based around the Buffy universe. And it's just kind of catching back up. I really love the show, and the fact that she is so excited to watch it with me is a lot of fun. It really is. You know, if you guys have kids, please find something that you guys can just connect with and have fun with. Sit down with your kid, even as they get older. Keep dragging them, because eventually they don't want to watch anything with you or do anything with you, for that matter. Anyway. Okay, so everyone else had a wonderful weekend. I did a lot of, let's see what I get in. Last week, I got all this Dragonfly stuff in. I got to do some pictures. You saw all 4 videos, I'm assuming. I got that Junkyard Joe. Where did I put him at? This guy right here. I knew nothing about this guy. What a cool figure. And I forgot to put the bayonet on. I can't believe it took someone all day before they said you didn't put the bayonet on. I completely forgot about it till I was actually driving home and was like, oh man, I totally forgot to put that on. So pretty cool figure. It is $112. Someone in bold caps yelled at me for not saying what the price is. Hell, I put the link down in it. I think you can do a little bit of work on your own, right? You can figure out how much it is. It's a Mezco, all right? Do a little Googling. Oh, wait, you don't even have to Google. Just click the link. But anyway, we're going to talk about the Dragonfly in a little bit. But before we do, let's get in to say hi to everybody, because right now there is 54 of you in here. Please, if you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Let's say hi to everyone. We have Same Time Toys, who says, can't wait for this one. Stuck at work, I'll be listening. We have Menhoza. We have Johnny Reno. We have GI Bro, who has the biggest guns, other than maybe the picture of me and the Dragonfly. Did you miss that picture? That arm looks huge because of how the photo was shot. We have Derek Holloman here, Machine Man, my moderator Matthew Matson, Payne's Toy Samples, PNC, Krusty Old Crow, Snow Wolf, Plastic, a fantastic. We have Stanley Everhart, 3-star draw. Mr. Mad Gus has joined us also. Did I say Nolan? That makes us Toy Tube official. At least that's what I have been told. We have Lone Dragon. We have Gun Bunny Customs, who got this. I don't even know if he opened one up and put it together, or if he just opened his first one up and tore the damn thing apart to turn into what is it, a Tiger Paw? No, a Tiger Paw is the 4-wheeler. Whatever the Tiger Force version is. He's already torn it apart. I believe he's completed the video, so go check it out. We have a Legend series. Hello, everyone. How's Monday treating you? You know what? I'm just waiting to the end of this week because I have all next week off. I love football. I don't believe that I've ever seen you here. Maybe you've changed your name. If so, thank you for joining. It's great to have new people here. We have Pretzel John. You know, your name just makes me laugh every time I see it. It also makes me think of this guy's dog, Pretzel. Yes, and that's a true story. Kenzo's Creation has joined us. Oh boy, see, now we're running all these people that have already jumped in here. Allison, Troy. Hey, you know what? I hope that you are. He says there wasn't enough Jake Paul getting the snot beat out of him, and being unalive. I'm kind of with you. I hope you're settling in your new home. I hope that's treating you well. I have not moved in 18 years. So I just remember how much I hated it the few times that I've had to move in the past. Damon Knight has joined us. Christoph Scuba. We have Osdro Thomas Toys. We have Tripwire 788, who is in the house already. We have Clint Jorgensen. It will take many years before we have the bandwidth to live feed the Super Bowl or future Jake Paul fights. Dude, they better not think about live streaming only the Super Bowl. That would be just awful. And remember, Netflix, they have football coming on Christmas and they have Monday Night Raw. So hey, you know what? I may be going head to head against Monday Night Raw, but our signals might be the exact same. which would be pretty amusing. Viper Scout is in the house joining us. Jay Astro, Rolando Flores. We have Tony's Figs, who is here. Training is more than just a punching bag. He couldn't throw uppercuts. His stipulations came out. I know training is more than punching a bag, but that's what they showed. So when you're punching a bag, it's not punching back, so there's no defense on it. It's much different. I don't know if you're trying to argue with me or what, but just don't. Just don't. Machine Man is here. Did I say Mr. Mad Gus? If I haven't, I'll say it again. Mr. Mad Gus has joined us. We have 17 decimal I know we talked about this, right? 17 to Nate, or something like that. I got to figure that out completely. You said it has something to do with Star Wars. Matthew, please let me know what it is. I'm sure Matthew Matson, my moderator, he knows exactly what it is. I got to figure this one out. We have a Sabir who has joined us. We have I Love Football who is asking who is everyone's favorite G.I. Joe ever. So please, in the comments, let him know. Just trying to say hi to everyone. Man, there are so many. So many of you guys. Gun Bunny Custom says actually working on the Tigerfly as we speak. I'm glad that I'm able to give people the option to listen to what I'm doing on Mondays while they're doing customs or cleaning the house or doing whatever. I'm glad that I've been able to create a show, design a show that isn't heavily based on what you're looking at. Just me obliterating the English language and probably ripping on McFarlane. JC Howard has joined us saying, first time checking your live. So I'm just going to say, I've never seen you before, which I noticed as soon as I saw the name. So Matthew, you don't even have to send me a screenshot of his statistics because he's already told us. Turk Murphy Solution has joined us. We have a Snow Wolf. We have a G.I. Dro, sup y'all, which that looks like a flight suit that you got on right there, or some sort of pilot, which I think is pretty damn cool. We have Fatred. We have Omega Godzilla 2.0. Man, we got a lot of new names in here. Matthew, am I crazy? I would ask my other moderator, Ed, but I haven't seen his name yet. Dude's probably sleeping in his chair right now, trying to watch it, but probably passed out. So am I seeing a bunch of new names, Matthew, or is it just me? Because I love seeing new names or even seeing people jump in for the first time. Because all it is a big hangout here, man. So I'm glad you guys all were able to jump in here. Derek Van Wee, is that right? What's up, brother? Wow. We have Dave's Dimension who is here. If you're new here, then understand I like to go through as many names as possible. Plastic Skulls, what's up, Pumpkin, everyone else. There we go. We made it to the end. I think if I missed you, I apologize. I try not to miss everyone. I want to say hi to everyone because you know what? You are taking your time to jump in here, and I know everyone likes to hear their name read. We've all been on shows in the chat, and we like to hear it. So if you're new, please, I hope you're going to bear with me. I hope you bear with me with running through all those names. But we're only 14 minutes in it. You want me to give you 3 hours? I got to fill some time somehow. And like I said, there is not very much. Mr. Madga says, speaking of Star Wars, that damn Haslab is humongous. It's not out yet, is it? I mean, have you guys received it? And I'm only asking because I don't really know if it is out. I know it's supposed to ship, right? Or at least it should be soon. Anyway. Just trying to read what I have here. Okay, so I want to say thank you to Joe G, who was my guest last week on Thursday with a friend. I had a great time. He was so shocked by how many of his friends joined in that have never been on the channel before. Some of them may never be on the channel again, but 100%, to be 100% honest, that's what I want. I want people to get a look at him or get a look at whoever comes on. Hopefully they bring in a few people so they can see what they have to say. And a lot of his friends, a lot of these guys were saying, I've known this guy for a long time. I've talked to him. I have never heard some of this story. So thank you very much, Joe G, for joining us. He's probably at work right now. Actually, I know that he is because he has mandatory overtime. So I know it's he's got a lot going on. So Grizzlehorn has joined us. Hey, I'll hit that like button. I did it and made my tingling. I'm sorry. Hey, y'all. Hit like. I did it. Made me tingling in tingling places. I love that stuff. And Oz says, Curtis rallied the troops and gave praises on Thursday with a friend. I did check that out. I did hear what he said, and it was very nice to hear Curtis say that. Even though, if I remember correctly, Curtis, you are the one that said that Barry Sanders is overrated. I didn't forget that. And as a guy that lives in Detroit, but not a Detroit Lions fan, I root for them for all the people, but I have no memorabilia of them. I watch them, but if they win, they win. If they lose, they lose. Barry Sanders is not overrated. He is the most electrifying running back that has ever and ever will be. Who is this? The Zealhearth. Hey, Punk. I don't think I swear I've not seen a lot of these names. I'm going to start saying I haven't seen this name just so I can see how many times Matthew will text me. He's already texted me twice. Because he can see it. Because as a moderator, I would have to go and look at other places. He can pull it up really quick, and he can see everything. But yeah, it definitely makes me laugh, because I'll be like, I haven't seen this guy. Next thing I know, he's texting me something, and sometimes it'll be like, this guy's made like 10 comments in the past 4 weeks, and you're like, man, that's how fast the chat goes. I've talked about it before. So Cobra Commander says, is Barry Sanders a skateboarder or a construction worker? He'd be a very elusive skateboarder if he was. I don't think there's many people that will argue that he is the greatest running back of all time. The greatest pure runner. There may have been better running backs because he wasn't known for his blocking, for his catching out of the backfield, and he probably would have a few more touchdowns if he did. But I'm not going to get into sports ball, because right now it's like talking Motu if I bring up sports ball, because some of you guys are just heathens that don't understand how amazing the game of football is. Anyway, I want to say thank you to this week's guest, Sharlock Prime, who will be joining me. He also joined us on Punk's Pit while he was at Codename Iowa, or God, I can't think of the actual name of it. Everyone calls it Codename Iowa. But he joined us, and he didn't have headphones, so he couldn't hear us, but we could hear everything that he was saying. Sergeant Reds has joined us saying, nice shirt. I wore it just for you, John. I knew it would make you happy. I keep meaning to come in there so we could discuss what we're going to do about the Toys for Tots. But I was wrapped up this weekend, and sometimes other things going on in life. So I will get with D, and we'll figure out exactly what we're going to do next week. My heart is smiling. John, you don't have a heart. Kenzo says, my two favorite topics, sports ball and Motu. Exactly. The two deadest things that I can get on here. Bobby Wold has joined us. I came for Toy Talk, and so far I've heard about Buffy and sports. Are you new here, Bobby Wold? Bobby, why don't you go away? Just come back next week for Black Friday, the giveaway, and maybe you can win all 5 or 6 giveaways, whatever I have, right? Isn't that how it goes with you? But don't go anywhere, Bobby. I can't afford to lose anyone. 73 people watching. Please hit that like button. Anyway, I have Sharlock Prime joining me this Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as you know. And I already recorded the Thanksgiving Thursday with a friend with True Mr. 6. Here's what I'm going to have to say. When you guys sit down, it's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a premiere. Make sure you have your turkey close to you. Have some pop. It is a 4-hour interview. It goes to like 2 a.m. in the morning for him, and it was only like 10 p.m. for me. Uh, it has its ups and downs, as he kind of mentions he's getting kind of tired, but then it kicks off again. That guy is a character, so I think you guys are going to enjoy that. You might want to watch it in parts, right? You might want to watch it in a couple separate parts. But anyway, all right. So I want to kind of go back to doing this. So this weekend I was watching, going through YouTube and just kind of checking some stuff out, and I came across this YouTuber, and I want you guys all to check him out. I'm going to post a link here. His name is Blind Prime, and he is a blind content creator that is reviewing figures, and I found him reviewing the Dragonfly, and I found him very fascinating. And the reason for that is he does everything by feel because he can't see. And as I'm going through and I'm watching his Dragonfly review, and I think he did it in multiple parts. Obviously, I haven't watched all his content. I just came across him. And I was so fascinated by how he did things because he catches things that you and I never would. And it kind of reminds me of when I started first reviewing the classified figures and I was comparing them to the O-rings. And still to this day, I compare them to the O-rings. I find so many details on the O-ring that we never saw because we were playing with stuff. And as he's like feeling around the cockpit and everything, he pointed out the vents, and there were little things that I didn't see that are kind of like right there, especially in the cockpit. Especially when you're trying to do the review and you're moving the camera up there, you're missing all kinds of things. But as he goes through feeling for the texture, it gave me a completely different point of view on how to see things or how to review things and what you're actually looking for. Machine Man says Prime is a good guy. Yeah, I was, and we kind of went back and forth with a couple comments. He'd be someone I would absolutely love to have on Thursday with a friend, because I feel like that is something very interesting. You obviously have a story. I don't believe that he's been blind his entire life because he understands. It sounds like he knows color, clear, different things like that. So where he's at, and again, I know there's another blind. There's a blind skate. There's a few blind skateboarders, and there's one that I skate with from time to time, and he just rips. He doesn't rip for a blind guy. He rips for a skateboarder. And what he was doing before he lost his vision was absolutely amazing. You watch some of that stuff, but you watch what he does now, and you're just like, how the hell do you do that? Not only being blind, but just in general, how do you even do stuff like that? So, 3 Star says, if he's blind, how the fuck did he ever knock the? If he's blind, how the fuck did he not ever knock the camera over reviewing that huge ass thing? I'm going to watch it and find out though. Because he hugs it. I swear to God, he hugs it. He has his cat that's coming in, right? Which I find, he calls it his co-host. His cat comes in, right? So his cat's coming in and he's like trying to shoo her off something. And then he's like, oh, you're not even on it. But he's like hugging it. I swear it looked like he was on an ironing board. All right. And if you're listening, Blind Prime, I know you said you enjoy the content. I don't know if you were just saying that because you're like, oh wow, like this guy has a channel. I should say I've seen him too. He like has his hand around it, like he is hugging it. So it does, because I was thinking the same thing. Like, how is he not going to knock this thing over? Willard says, and yet he didn't break his canopy. No, I don't believe that he has. But anyway, I said, put the chapstick on again. This time, do it to Goodbye Horses. I don't know what that reference is to. I don't know if I should, but I don't. And I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Anyway. Okay. I did get a new Extreme set, so you guys can, when I'm doing reviews, you no longer will have to look at the Extreme set arcade I'm not even sure which one I got this time. It's some sort of Asian background. So at least you won't have to only look at the arcade. Actually, you can see the arcade now. I've kind of pinned it up so it's at its L. But it's from Silence of the Lambs or Clerks, your pick. I've never seen Clerks 2, oddly enough. Silence of the Lambs, it's been a while, as I'm not a horror guy, but Silence of the Lambs is a fucking good ass movie, man. It really is a damn good movie. And yeah. Creepy as shit. When you really think about what it is a creepy ass shit movie. All right, so can look over everything here. So, next Friday, not this Friday, next Friday, we're going to be doing the Black Friday giveaway. This will be the 3rd annual Black Friday giveaway. This time I have multiple things to give away thanks to the Streamathon, which I believe everyone wants it to be called Punkathon now, which if that's what you guys like, and it seems weird calling it Punkathon, but Sergeant Reds, John called it that, and everyone said, hey, that actually sounds better. I don't think I would have done that, but hey, if you guys want that for next year. Anyway, back to the 3rd annual Black Friday giveaway, which I've only done, I think given 1 or maybe 2 things away. That's how I actually kicked off the lives. So and that actually marks 2 full years of doing lives. I know I tell people that I don't know, and I really don't, although I did start putting in season 2, whatever episode this is. And look at this. My other moderator has decided to join us. Great to have you here, Ed. I hope you were sleeping, getting a good night's rest in that chair of yours. But anyway, so I'll be putting a video together this week. It'll go live on Friday. Same rules as before. Video goes up. You put your name, your screen name that we see in there. You have to live in the U.S. or Canada, the continental U.S., where it can be shipped to. And you put your name in, and then you just have to be there. There'll be 5 or 6 different prizes. I forget what it is. We have Doc, Retro Cobra Commander, Retro someone else, Retro Beachhead, the Tiger Paw, and a 3D printed Wolverine. Okay. It'll go to 8 p.m. So 8 p.m. on Black Friday is the last you can get it. You have to be there. That's the rules. You have to be there. It's going to start at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I will put the video up. I'll make the video this week. I want it to go up Friday, so everyone has a full week to put in there, and you'll have till 8 p.m. that day to get your name in there. I do the rest of it. All you have to do is tune in. You don't have to subscribe. You don't have to like. You don't have to share. Nothing like that. The other thing is, it might coincide with me hitting 6,000 subs. I can't promise that. Now, if you want, I can be like some other YouTubers, and I can hit that promotion button so I can get up to 6,000 plus subs. But I really don't want to promote something just to get subs, because that means I haven't done the work, and I'm not about that life. Maybe you are. Maybe you're like, hey, you know what? I need to pat myself on the back. But I would love to be at 6,000 subs come next Friday, but I have no plans on hitting that promotion tabs and just manufacturing subs so I can go around patting myself on the back going, oh, look how many subs I have. Good Lord, we live in a fucking weird world. We have Cobranomics. Hello, everyone. I know that I've never seen Matthew. If you say you've seen him before, it's under a different name. In JLS Comics. Thank you, JLS. Because of you, I searched this guy before I got him on Sunday, and I was actually able to find out about it. So if you watch this review, in the description, you will also see a link to JLS Comics, who is Junkyard Joe. And I was so fascinated. I'm like, I really want to read about this. I want to find out about this whole, not just him, but the whole that whole universe that he's part of. I believe it's all part of Image Comics, and I was very intrigued by it. Very intrigued, and thank you. If you want to know about any G.I. Joe characters, he does a lot of Marvel Legends characters, or not Marvel Legends, Marvel. Go check out JLS Comics. He does these nice, I don't know, they're like 8 to 20 minutes, depending on how much he has, breaking down a whole character and who they are. Nah, dude, thank you, man. You do. I mean, I know I told you when I had you on here, there's a reason why you have what, 30, 40, 50,000 subs. Sorry, guys. What you like, the content that you put out is so good. And he doesn't use an AI voice. He uses his own voice. What a concept. Am I the only one that gets annoyed when you hear the same AI on like different channels and you're like, son of a bitch, man, I want to at least hear a different voice, right? Or maybe you get to really like a voice and you're like, damn it, that's not even the guy. And here, Joe Gonsalves has joined us. I've already said thank you. You don't get another thank you for being here. You already got it earlier. You got to go back and watch it, Joe. Thank you, Joe, for joining me last week. That was a great show. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. Joe tells about his life. He brags about how amazing he is, how he was the star of Legion's Con. I thought it was a little over top. I thought it was a little too braggadocious. But I'm like, all right, Joe, if you say Legion's Con is all about you, then hey, this is your show today. We'll let it go. I'm sticking to my story right there. Lone Dragon says, wait, what kind of videos? How have I not heard of JLS? He'll take, Wolverine, right? You take Wolverine and he will tell you the history of it. Now, obviously, it only goes up to when, if he did it 5 years ago, then up to 5 years ago. He'll tell you the whole story. When it comes to G.I. Joe, he does a wonderful, wonderful job of breaking down, like, the Larry Hama. Like, he'll break down, like, the real American hero, how he came from, the Larry Hama, and then he went to IDW. Like, he does a wonderful, wonderful job. And if you have any questions, or if you have any suggestions, hit him up. And say, hey, you know what? I would love to see you do this guy or whatever. So, and Joe says, also, you might be fibbing. I don't know what the word fibbing means. I might know what the word fibbing means. Airborne Customs has joined us. How's it going, Punk? I don't know if he's ever been here live, but I know this guy because I met him at Joe Fest, and I've talked to him also. And when I say a lot of things. If you ever see Airborne Customs, if you know who he is on Facebook, like I always say about Chris from the Full Force, if Chris is telling you something that's coming from G.I. Joe or talking about it, understand it's probably true. If he tells you something, you might want to listen to what he has, because he might have more insight than the rest of us doing these YouTube shows that think that we know something. I'm just gonna put it out there, okay? So if you know who he is and you hear him say something, just go with it. All right. I need to throw my banner up here. So we are coming to Black Friday, as we had already mentioned. Lots of deals. So be ready. As I find deals on Instagram, Entertainment Earth, not Instagram. See, if I find deals on Entertainment Earth, Amazon, Hella Dope Toys, if they do it, I'm going to be posting them in the community tabs on the Facebook group page, Punks with Toys. So hopefully it can help you. Yes, it does help the channel. I'm not going to make any bones about it. It helps support the channel. If I see something really good on BBTS or whatever, I will also post that. But when someone asks, hey, why don't you post a link to BBTS or Hasbro Pulse? Well, because it doesn't help support the channel. So I have no reason, I'm already doing a service to help everyone out. I'm trying to support the channel. So that is the reason why I do that. But be prepared. Entertainment Earth already has a whole bunch. And last year, they were just blowing out all those G.I. Joe Super 7 and Ultimates. And, well, they were blowing them all out, and everyone got them. And it looks like BBTS is starting to, which probably means Entertainment Earth will too. And No, I'm the Question has joined us. So this is a perfect time when I see this to do, where the hell's it at? For the love of God, why can't I find what I need to? I really don't do this, but you have been really good in here. Shoot on over there. What the hell was that? Was there like a bobcat attacking someone? Or what the hell was that noise?
Jesus Christ, what was that?
It sounded like a bobcat attacking. I normally don't do this, especially to someone who just jumped in, but he's been so good. Go check out his YouTube channel and give him a subscribe.
Yes. Yeah, dude, his videos are actually pretty cool. I like his videos. He's asking questions back to the community to get them to kind of guide where he wants to go with what he wants to review and stuff. He's been making some good videos.
Okay, yeah. What was the noise? What was the fucking noise? Because that sounds
nobody's gonna fess up. What was that?
I think it was Usual Mike. He's the only one that has little people running around him. He's the only one with people around him.
He looked a little suspicious.
I didn't see nothing.
That sounded like a bobcat outside my house does.
He might just always look suspicious now that I'm looking at him a little.
We don't have bobcats.
So there you go. Well, I can't say because of him. I think Usual Mike's kid was going to make that noise no matter what. But in reference of what I was talking about was to know I'm the question. The fact that I can remember that tells you how memorable that moment was. But thank you for joining. It gave me a reason to play that and also to blow my nose, which is like started running like the moment I came on live. Bill K has joined us. If anyone is wondering where that came from, I took over the clubhouse from Oz one day, had it here, and Usual Mike from Australia. His kids would have been the only ones up at that time. That noise came from one of his kids playing video games. And I was just so happy that when I said something about it, that others had heard it. Because I thought maybe I was just going nuts. And then when Matthew's like, yeah, what was that noise? But Ed, who visibly is very frustrated that nobody has fessed up to what that fucking noise was, I think just makes that whole clip that much better. And then you have Radnam going, man, come to think about it, he always looks pretty suspicious. JLS says it was Bobcat Goldthwait doing an impression of a bobcat. Dude, it might have been. It might have been his last breath for all I know. Anyway, Norman question says, oh, dude, I feel that. I've got a damn seasonal cold. My nose has been running. No, my nose isn't even running. It just, when your nose, like, you feel it, like, right there, and you're like, God damn. But, of course, it started, like, the moment I came on live, like, God, like, I can just feel it just sitting there. But I don't have a runny nose or anything, God. But I'm in Michigan, so it's about to, the nose running, the sickness, not the C word, is going to be coming. So anyway, as I was saying before, I was so pleasantly interrupted by No, I'm the Question, so I had to play the Bobcat. I will be posting different links just so you guys help you guys out. I know there's a lot of different deals that are going to happen. Amazon, all the Black Friday stuff. Entertainment Earth, again, if you use my code APUNK, when you see something like that, you get 10% on top of all that stuff. So you find something in Entertainment Earth, this is the best time to get anything from them. I know a lot of people don't enjoy ordering from them just for the fact that they seem to be the last people to ship. Now, I truly do believe that goes all the way back to they're a distributor. They're a distribution. So they ship out to guys like Sergeant Reds, Hella Dope Toys. So I believe all this stuff goes out before they ship it out to the consumer. But when this stuff goes on sale, think of them as like KB toys. Like they're blowing stuff out for you. And then you're also going to get 10% off. So they're blowing stuff out and then you get 10% off. I know a lot of people took advantage of those Super 7 Ultimates last year. So let's see here. Marco Mercura jumps in here. I don't believe I've ever seen you either. I do feel like there's a lot of new people. So please hit that like button if you haven't yet. And also answer the question. You know, I put a little poll there. It helps me track really how many people have jumped in and how many people have really jumped in. So, okay. But anyway, that's about it. And so the topic, we will get into the Dragonfly. We will get into the Dragonfly. I love the lights. I don't care what anyone says. When everyone says, you know what, do we really need lights? I love my Hiss tank lights. And when it's dark out and I'm leaving for work or if I'm going up to bed, I hit those lights every single time, man. I absolutely love it. Ed says, I live football. He did a review already. The topic will be at 11:30. It might be sooner because I am not lying when I say there is a very, very, very little to talk about news-wise. There are a lot of G.I. Joe stuff to talk about, a lot of leaks and stuff like that. So, and Mr. Mad Guy says, smash that like button or Bobcat is going to eat Punk. I have Roman to protect me, so I don't have to worry about it. So you've seen how he is. Marco says, looks awesome with the lights. Customs would lose it at the airport, getting it back to Customs would lose it at the airport, getting it back to Uruguay. I need to read these things first. I need to have like a prepper. I should have all this stuff prepped. Anyway, let's get into a little bit of news, and we'll start with McFarlane. Isn't that a cool background here? Let's remove this really quick. Look at this cool background. 87 of you watching. Maybe you haven't seen this yet, but here. Now, it has come to my attention that the hat that I'm wearing, and no one has said it to me, it looks like what the hats that you see in like Taiwan, that like the bicyclers, the bicycle people are riding, like when they're like towing people around. But it's really it's the hat that I have. A VC hat, yes. But it's really the hat that I got. It's a Transformers hat that I got at Universal Studios because it was raining out. Sean Forrester says, I don't need a bare minimum. Haslab, give me the lights. I'm with you, man. I love the lights. I don't need sound. That's what I don't need. We talked about it with Ramen Racer. I don't really need sound because it doesn't translate over into pictures. But I was like, dude, you put the lights on there and you can get the look of both figures in the dark, and they look so cool with that nice green glow. So, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's get to a little bit of McFarlane news. And I think the only thing that dropped was this is very, very, very expensive playset for him being on the talk show with two probably very little articulated figures that look, I guess they look pretty good. Anyway, I don't know if this thing is worth $250, which is what I believe that it went up as, but Grizzle says, I have the same hat but Jurassic Park. Yeah, I'm sure they're just sitting there slapping on different badges and everything. So, Noam the question says $200 for a Robert De Niro action figure. Wasn't it $250? Maybe I'm wrong. Either way, $200 is too expensive. Although I think it's really nice. I mean, this is something that would be awesome. It would have been awesome to see Mossman getting his own talk show, talking to somebody. But I don't know if, I mean, hell, I think Radnom and a few other people could just 3D print stuff. It's been a long time. I've only watched the movie a couple times. Was his mug this big in the movie? Because remember, McFarlane is a true 7-inch figure, and that mug looks fucking gargantuous. All right. Ed says that it is $249 in BBTs. That's what I thought it was. $100. 100 easily. I mean, I don't think 100 is would be too much for everything that you're going to get for this stuff, because it's not just 2 characters. And Punisher Bill, nice to see you here. Mr. Madga says, I love the studio, but no thanks. Yeah, I think that's exactly what everyone's saying. That looks like a Juggalo version of Joker. Can I honestly, I didn't think that there would ever be that much talk of ICP on any of my live streams when I started talking, but that name gets brought up way more than it should be, or references to ICP. If you don't know who ICP is Insane Clown Posse. They did do pretty funny skits watching wrestling. But as for their music and their Fago, yeah. So here's everything that you're going to get with this thing. You're going to get the studio, a couple chairs, a desk, a plant, a couple different face masks for the Joker. That's not a tablet. I forget what he's holding there. So it looks really cool. There's no doubt about it. Like, I think that this is really cool, but not for $250. I mean, I don't even understand where $250 even begins to approach, especially with McFarlane. Usually he is very, very tame on what he's charging, but this is just out of there. No on the question said Todd McFarlane's new ICP toy line. No. Yeah, I guess I'm more shocked, Darren, that there's that many people like Cobweb who actually enjoys ICP, who lives in California. It really worries me that there's more people than just regional people that actually like that music. And I mean that. Krusty says you cannot ignore ICP. You can try, but you will fail and end up a tilt-a-whirl. I don't know if that's something that's real. I mean, I know what a tilt-a-whirl is. I know that is real, but I don't know if that is something from ICP. Clint Jorgensen says ICP with 2 members won the M&M and D12 beef, who had 7 members after proof passed. I honestly, I don't know. I mean, I know who M&M is. I know who M&M is. All right. He actually doesn't. He didn't live too far from me, he didn't. He had a home that wasn't too far. I wasn't allowed in the gated community. Tesla Super Destinations has joined us. Buy the set for Hector Ramirez. 20 questions diorama. Yeah, but not for $250. That's the problem. This thing is just way overpriced. It does look good. I mean, I don't think it's hard. I mean, it's better than some of the fucking figures that he's shown off. But I think this does look good. I mean, everything that's kind of embossed on it, the way it sticks out, it does look like an actual talk show set. So, I mean, I like it. So here's everything that you're going to get with it. You have an open mic night Thursday, 7 p.m., all this other stuff. Includes life-size prop replica items. So I don't know. Maybe you can get this if you got the Rattler, then you can put your patches on it, and then you can have this type of stuff. Do you really need, prop replica life-size? I don't feel like that's a big thing. I feel like we continue to go back to uh, Ghostbusters, and like that is cosplay. That is a cosplay thing right there. So, but you can do some really cool things, and again, you're able to get them to sit down. We'll see if that really works. Well, if anyone actually gets this, I'll be blown away if this thing doesn't end up on clearance eventually. Because I don't know, again, but I see that all the time. But who's someone's buying it, right? But there was another thing that I had noticed in this that I want to talk about. So here's the book, Spiral Notebook, which reminds me I need to get another one to do my notes for the show. For the show, I do need to get another Spiral Notebook for this year or next year coming up. So anyway, here's your life-size props. Oops. But I wanted to talk about this thing. And now I don't know what happened to this mandate from DC with no guns, but now this is 2 weeks in a row that we have seen figures with guns. First, going back to the Red Hood that is coming out, that he's coming. He has the pistols that came with the original Red Hood about 4 years ago. And I think that was like right after the mandate came down. Here's another one. Now, maybe because this isn't going to be sold at stores, but we saw a lot of high-end companies that weren't giving guns to figures that should have for DC. And I know a lot of people started confusing it with Marvel, saying, "Oh my God, Disney's not letting Captain America because there were certain times they didn't have it. They didn't have a gun or something. Like Bucky Barnes didn't have a gun. Winter Soldier didn't make any sense." But DC was the one who put down the mandate. Hasbro and Marvel never have. So, but it looks like maybe they're lifting this, which is really good for people that are collecting this, because Todd has done a nice job creating his crappy guns. There's a couple good guns in that set, but they don't work with anything else. They work with these figures. They are made to be comic etiquette wise, right? That's how they look. And I had someone some guy gave me a rude comment about it and say, like, those only work with McFarlane because they're made for them. Like, I understand that, but Valiverse are made for Valiverse, but they work with Marvel Legends and G.I. Joe, and I guess to work with Operation Monster Force and stuff like that. You can make something that will be universal and work with other things. So, you have to think outside the box. And probably that's why he does a direct to consumer when it came to those weapons packs. Nazar is here. What up, Punk? Nice to see you here. But so here we go to Haya. Told you there is not much to talk about. Airborne. I don't think I said this. That set would be nice for Hector Ramirez 20 questions diorama. Not really sure. And Sergeant Rocket's wish. I think I should have been going. Oh yeah. Sergeant Rock didn't get anything. He got that stupid shovel. I take it back. The shovel is cool. You should have the shovel. I like that. It just sucks that he didn't have a gun. Luckily, I had some oversized. Gridiron guns that Johnny Reno had sent me, and a shotgun works really good. The M16 looks pretty good, and the Tommy gun, which is probably, since he's World War II, is more accurate, but it also has the cylinder drum magazine rather than the stick magazine. So, and I see that Screaming Skull Saloon has joined us. Still waiting for a classified Night Viper. I have a feeling it will eventually come. I can't see them not doing that. And AJ, I'm a huge Batman fan, but sadly, I wouldn't buy this if McFarlane himself paid me. Again, if that thing was $100, I think people would be buying it up like crazy. He could probably sell the whole backdrop for $75 with no figures, and people would buy it up. because they're going to use it for so many other things. When it comes to dioramas like that, just like this NECA display behind me here, it's hard to see it because there's Dragonfly there. You can work 6-inch figures into it and it doesn't look out of place, but you cannot fit 7-inch figures into a 6-inch display. I watched people try and wedge the Super 7 Ultimates G.I. Joes into their classifieds, and they're like, it doesn't look that bad. Like Cobra Commander looks like a fucking goddamn giant. All right, you cannot wedge a true 7-inch figure into a 6-inch line. A 6.5-inch figure, it can work. You look at Serpentor, but even if you put Serpentor, who is the biggest classified figure, up against a 7-inch figure, he looks tiny. He looks like a comic accurate Wolverine. Also, the Super 7s are pretty bad, but I'm not gonna speak out on that too much. No, it's perfectly fine. Hey, people love them. They like the movies, or they like the TV show. What they show you does look pretty accurate to that. Unfortunately, it's not what you always get. Anyway, Hiya here with their 4-inch exquisites. Here is a look at Rick Grimes from The Ones Who Live, from The Walking Dead. I still have not seen this. I love The Walking Dead. They have drug it on too long to where I have no idea where I can watch it anymore. Just like I've completely missed the Daryl Dixon. Daryl Dixon show, and they seem to have too many spinoffs where unfortunately, I lost track of what's going on. This Rick Grimes part, this movie should have come out right after The Walking Dead when it was like fresh, and it didn't. I think they went into the Daryl Dixon, and then there was another spinoff, I thought, and it just becomes too much. And I love the idea of The Walking Dead. I think it's not a story of zombies, in my opinion. Everyone wanted more zombies. I looked at it at how humans actually would act, and how many of them would be out for themselves and murdering other humans just to be on top of literally the dead. But anyway, here is a 4-inch figure. I know a lot of you guys are still into the 4-inch figures, Fatrid, guys like that. Absolutely love this stuff. White Vegeta says, am I saying that right? Vegeta, or is it Vegeta? The Super 7 comic bats work-ish. I disagree because I have the SDCC one, which I'm not a fan of as it is. I mean, you can watch my review, you can hear my thoughts on it. But I did try and put them with it, and they just look, because they don't look like they're supposed to be big. They just look like they're like those. You remember those dinosaurs that were basically sponges, and when you put water on them, they were supposed to blow up. What I remember is Bart Simpson buying them, thinking it's going to turn into a giant. That it's going to turn into a giant dinosaur, and it like just barely blows up. That's what I think of. Vegeta. Okay. So I had it right. No, Tony, that was mean. Vegeta. Anyway. So here it is, Rick Grimes. I think what they show off looks pretty good. Now, this looks better than any of the G.I. Joe's human faces that we've seen. But Hiya still has some major issues when it comes to the faces. Again, I think with this looks pretty good. The G.I. Joes, I don't know, maybe eventually. I'll probably buy a couple more of the Hiya Joes, but I can't see me picking up too much, to be 100% honest. Some of it doesn't work. But we're talking about this because you got me distracted. I love the gun. These things are really... again, going back to The Walking Dead, I love when they started introducing stuff like this. this is some sort of bayonet that's on top of an M4. And not really a bayonet, it's more like a pitchfork, so they can trap the walkers or just kill the walkers, different things like that. Again, looks really cool. I thought that this was a 6-inch figure. I think if it was a 6-inch figure, you'd probably do a little bit better, and they'll probably have them come out. I believe they do have some 6-inch figures. I could be wrong. I see a lot of toy news, to be 100% honest. But this is from the ones who live. So he's got the pistol, that M4. I don't know what that is. So he has his axe, couple fists, which I do like the fact that they take these 4-inch figures. They're not the only ones. Fresh Monkey Fiction also does it. But you got this nice M4. You got the pistol, which it really looks like, just quickly looking at it, it looks like that Beretta that I complain about for classified, just scaled down. Like the barrel is just too long because you want to put a suppressor on it. You have the axe. I do believe this guy actually loses his hand. I know he does in the comic. I think he actually does in the TV show. Oops. I haven't seen it, so I can't spoil something I don't know, but I think that's what happens. 3-star says, you love that gun and can't get into Monster Force steampunk stuff. Well, this is an M4. Okay. And all they did was put a bayonet style piece on the bottom. That Monster Force stuff, in my opinion, looks awful. And that stupid giant gun that doesn't even fit in their hands, yeah. Sorry, Darren. I don't like it. If you like it, you can use it. Mine will never have those guns. Matter of fact, mine are displayed without those guns, which is perfectly fine. Todd C jumps in and says, the pandemic already taught us how humans would react, grabbing all the toilet paper and essentials. Here, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. If there's ever a zombie apocalypse, everyone wants to grab stuff. What you really want to do is you want to head to all the fitness places, vitamin stores, grab protein powder, because you're going to be able to find water, and all you need is a mixer, and you actually have your protein and everything else that you're going to need. And then along the way, you can kill some pigs and some cow for your steak and everything. Get your protein that way also. So, yeah, but that's it. The next we're going to move on to G.I. Joe. But before we get to G.I. Joe, I was trying to pull something up when my computer needed to be reset. So I'm going to see if I can pull it up right now on Toy, as highly articulated would call it, Toy Newsy. Toy News Eye. And oh, look, we're having trouble finding that site. No, you're not. It's right here. And I saw this from NECA, and I was going to try and put it in, but it was right at the end of, or right before I was about to start the show. So let me present this, pop this up here, share my screen. Window. And it looks like NECA is doing a Scott Ian figure. Now, many people that follow Anthrax now or know Scott Ian know that he is completely bald, but back in the day, he was not. Back in the Persistence of Time Anthrax day, I'm the Man days, into social stuff like that. But he just came up recently, and I cannot remember what show I was on or what show we had going on where Scott Ian's name came up. But I like when I see stuff like this. And NECA and Super 7, I'll say something nice about Super 7. They tend to do some stuff that really, they tend to do some stuff that is off the wall that interests me, whether it be heavy metal. Super 7 does a lot of punk. That's probably why I want to like Super 7, but I just can't. Cobra Commander says, I would rather live on Twinkies than just protein powder. I didn't say that you have to live on just protein powder, but it is the zombie apocalypse. Crusty O'Crow says Twinkies are better than protein powder. Watch Zombie Land again. You know what? Muscle milk makes really good protein powder. I'm just saying. Anyway, so I haven't even got to look at these figures because I had to restart the computer because when I went to try and save them, everything kind of crapped out. Yes, Stanley, yes. Not only that, not only Married with Children, Anthrax was also on the MTV show Remote Control. Do you guys remember Remote Control? TV mattered, nothing else did. Remote Control. But cool looking figure. I could definitely see myself picking something like this up. It's just a one-off. Or if they do a whole Anthrax band, I could pick one up as we go along, as long as it's Belladonna as the singer and no one else. Not John Bush, not anyone else, because all the other ones sucked as singers. So anyway, it looks like he has his little New York symbol right there on his guitar. And I think the likeness is actually pretty good. It looks like this kind of mirror. It looks like it kind of fits in between a real look and the Tiny Toons or Toonie Terror. The Toonie Terrors, is that what it's called? So, but if you are into Anthrax or you just like Scott Ian, maybe you like SOD. Now they did do an SOD figure also. Stormtroopers of Death. If you don't know who Stormtroopers of Death are, well, they're not really politically correct. So you liberals watching may not want to listen to it. But anyway, Scott Ian, if you are so interested in picking this up, 1987 official action figure. So that was it. That was what I wanted to show you. I was trying to get it in the slides, and I wasn't going to be able to because, like I said, it just crapped out on me. Which is very interesting because I love when it just craps out on me and I had to restart the computer. But I guess it's better than during the show, they're crapping out. So here we are, an hour and 9 minutes in, and we're about to hit G.I. Joe talk. So, Ed, I'm not saying that there's no possible way that the show topic doesn't start till 11:30. But I am saying that there's a good chance that it starts before then. Mr. Madga says, I just need to ask and somebody to come out with some drums, Cold Slither. I thought NECA does have a drummer. Doesn't NECA have a drummer? It might be old, but I swear there was a drummer that they had. I can't think of who it is, but I fondly remember a drum set. But maybe I'm thinking of the Dreadnoks artwork. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of because they had the drum sets in the back. It says, I have faith in your ability to ramble on until then. I'm not saying I can't ramble on until 11:30, but I'm saying we'll probably start the topic before then. Can I talk an hour on the Dragonfly and the shit that I've read and watched? Yeah, I don't think that's really a problem. I could probably start at 11 and go for an hour talking about it. Animal from the Muppets. So yeah, I think 3-star set it too. So yeah, if you want a drum set, there you go. Find Animal from the Muppets, and it should probably fit with your 7-inch or 6-inch figures. I don't know about 7-inch figures. Anyway, let's talk a little G.I. Joe. And we're not going to start off with Hasbro, but we are going to talk about something that they have been showing off, and this was the G.I. Joe Mega, whatever it is, Mega Blocks. It's not Mega Blocks, is it? I don't know, whatever it is. So they dropped this 2-pack. Well, this 2-vehicle pack for figure pack for $80. I thought it was supposed to be on Mattel Creations. It did pop up for a short bit on Hasbro Pulse. Does anyone know if it's still on? Did it go up on Mattel Creations? I actually never checked. Let's pull this up right now. And it sold out pretty quickly. It sold out pretty quickly on Hasbro Pulse, that's for sure. I'm kind of surprised that it sold out that quickly, but I'm also not super surprised that it sold out that quickly. I think people were starved for G.I. Joe stuff, and they're grasping for stuff. Mega Blocks, thank you very much. Now it's just called Mega. Oh, okay. It was Mega Blocks. Now it's just Mega. Does that mean that they voted for Trump? Can the figures actually go in the vehicles, or is it like the other bootlegs Lego set from G.I. Joe? Oh, you'll see. No, they fit pretty well. It looks like it's still up on Mattel Creations. Yeah, so you can still get on Mattel Creations. It is sold out on Hasbro Pulse. So if you want this, I don't care for Legos. I know this is Mega, but yeah. So if you want it, you can go get it elsewhere at Mattel Creations. So the hiss is very small, which I really don't have a problem with. All right, this is an $80 set. Any type of block system, Lego is clearly the biggest. You know how expensive they can be. I do think that as great as Legos are when it comes to building stuff, I still think when you look at the figures, you definitely see that they are they're still lacking in any type of design. And I don't think they'll ever change because they are there's just their aesthetic. That's how they look. So the figures look way better than any Lego figure you're ever going to see here. I saw someone say something about it's shipping in November. 3-star says everywhere else will still deliver it before Pulse. Who cares? Darren, sometimes you get hung up on how long Pulse takes to ship something. You know that? Anyway, you got your Sky Striker and your hiss. Not a hiss tank. Ooh, don't want to say that. Here are the 2 figures. I love the fact that they give Duke his actual his actual gun that he had. There's no pinless joints, so please don't cry about that. Giving Ace is it's nice to give a different figure than what we normally would get for something like this. We don't have Snake Eyes, just them going directly to Snake Eyes. Yes, it is. It is the Skyhawk. It is a Sky Striker, so it is good they give you Ace, give you Duke, and he looks, pretty accurate. Here we have Cobra Commander and the Hiss Driver. I think they did a really good job with the Hiss Driver, all the way from having the articulation or the points up on top. So he does look really cool, and I still think the Hiss Driver is one of the best looking figures. And I find it also odd the Classified still hasn't come out with a single carded Hiss Driver, Hiss Tactician, Rip It, which makes you wonder, will they be doing a Hiss tank soon that goes directly to consumers? I think that Sentinel that they did for Marvel Legends might be an indication that they're willing to do stuff like that. But here is the Hiss. It is kind of tiny. It looks pretty funny. Everyone says that. Yeah, gotta say rip it for Hiss 3 if they're gonna do that. But I think with showing off that Sentinel from Marvel Legends, that they're showing you that, hey, we will do something like that. Like Hasbro's willing to take that risk to do that. So Clint says, these will scale great with my Mega Marvels and Pirates of the Caribbean display and Motu scale. Yeah, I think they're all the exact same. So, but anyways, here you have it. A nice little hiss. It does look like a hiss. And of course, you can put other things on the side if you want. Look at this. We have Toy Connection showing up saying, I'm early for once and 44D2. For those who don't have room for the Haslab. For those of you who want a Haslab Sky Striker, but don't want to believe us that it would be too fucking big, you can get this along with the hiss. Here's the Sky Striker, and I gotta say, this F-14 looks really good. I was tempted to order it when I saw it. Of course, seeing that it's actually going up. It's going to be delivered in November. I was like, damn, I really don't need this. Nor do I want to put this together. Nor do I have any space for it because I have to make space for other G.I. Joe stuff and other toys. But I do think that this looks really good. Not a lot of kibble on it, which obviously there's going to be specific pieces, the cone and everything, the wings that are made specifically for that. All right, Ed says, at that scale, they can do a flag. I also thought this would be awesome if you bought like, I don't know, 8, 9 of these, and you put these on the actual flag. Because now you're closer to scale, where you can line up a whole bunch of F-14s. The tower would probably be more to the actual size of a aircraft carrier tower. So I actually thought that would actually be pretty good. But now if they sold this individually, specifically to people with flags, maybe. Wraith Mace has joined us. Sup, folks? We are the Hammer. All right, so here is another look at the hiss. Now, if you know how big these figures are, you can figure out exactly how big this hiss is going to be. But it has all the decals on it, 788, the Cobra symbol, 368, all the stuff like that. You can see here, you can fit both figures. At least I think you can. I'm assuming that canopy will close. Can someone explain to me why Duke is trying to cram himself in there with that backpack? And then we have Ace, who looks like he's about to fly into space. So, Duke, you might as well just kiss your ass goodbye because Ace is clearly planning on killing you. Oh, and quickly, haven't had this yet today, so.
Welcome to the Creamery.
And Wraith Mace has donated 1 Punk membership, and it has gone to Greg Harris. Greg Harris, I've never seen you post here. I can't remember ever seeing you comment on a video, but it is great to know that you somehow found the channel at some point in your life. I hope you do enjoy it. I hope you're watching this, or you're watching on the replay, or now you got a membership and you're like, shit, dude, who the fuck is this punk with toys? Why did I get a damn membership? So it says Duke's wearing his bedroll parachute pack in case he needs to bail. And I think you're on board with me when they say we all thought that was a parachute. It clearly, Airborne's backpack clearly was not a parachute, but I think you're on board with agreeing like, yeah, we all thought it was and we all used it as one. None of us are smart enough to go, how does the parachute come out around the shovel? It just doesn't make any sense. Okay. So here's what the box looks like. Again, it really does look like those really cheap dollar store ones, the display. It does have the digital display. Again, looks cool. It's what we've got to know from what the Sky Striker and the Hiss box art always is. Even with the tank treads going over and coming back, So, and Wraithmate says, "Oh, fun! I have a ton of Mega Blocks. Call of Duty Lego. They made some unbelievable models. The tanks are amazing. If they are doing Joe ones, that is awesome. Yeah, I think so too. Um, yes, Matthew, we know. I never thought it was a parachute. It always looked like a bedroll to me. I know, Matthew. We know, Matthew. You know, we need to come up with a segment. Matthew knows. How about that? Matthew knows. That'd be a new segment that we'll all use. Well, none of us realize Hasbro named an aerosol trooper airborne either. Very true. Oh, look, and here comes Terrence. I don't care about a dragonfly. I'm getting a dragon. So, true story. When I was trying to put in the poll, I was trying to put that in there, but I kept running out of room, and there was no way to word it, or at least no way I could think of wording it in the short amount of time that I had to put in. I don't care. I'm getting a Mythic Legion's dragon. So I actually did try putting that in there. Except for Matthew, he knew. Richard Marks. I was calling you Richard Marks. Mark Richards. Hopefully they will go well with the Creole Joes from a few years back. I still have the Terradrome in the box I need to set up. Can I say something about I don't have any of the Creoles, but when you say the Creoles a few years back, they went out before Toys R Us went out. Can you believe how long ago that was? Can you believe how fucking long ago Toys R Us went under here? Anyway, the back of the box art I absolutely love because it reminds me of that Sky Striker. And if you remember the bigger vehicles, the Whale, Sky Striker, they use that really, really, really thick cardboard. And it had more of a drawing on the back. And there was something really cool about it. It's kind of like if you got it, you knew that you were getting one of the bigger pieces. You were getting one of the bigger boxes, unlike the Hiss tank or anything like that. So I think this does look cool. So here we have the articulation on this little itty bitty tiny Hiss, and I find this really, really nice because they were somehow able to make the gun turret move up and down, and also make the hatch open up. There are some bigger companies that still haven't been able to figure out how to make a hatch go up and down, open and close, and the gun turret to go up and down. But I found it really good that Mattel was able to find a way to make it work with something that's probably going to be close to maybe 3 inches high. So, congrats to you guys. I won't talk about the plastic because I'm not a plastic expert. Here we have the Sky Striker, and they do have the wings that swoop in along with the canopy that opens and closes. So once again, I will reiterate, I always wanted multiple Sky Strikers with the wings closed. I wanted to order multiple Haslabs, but I couldn't afford it. Just because I wanted to line up 5 of them on the aircraft carrier with the fucking wings closed. And unfortunately, I couldn't. But yeah, but it's okay. I've gotten over it because I have all this other stuff that I can line up on that flag. Terrence says, Punk, it's a simple question. Do you want a dragon too? No, I'd have to do a whole other question. And I want to do another question. I want to talk about the Dragonfly. Because as cool as that dragon is, as cool as Mythic Legions are, I'm just going to say it. G.I. Joe's way cooler. They're way cooler. And I really do like Four Horsemen. All right, so here you can kind of get the size of the actual Sky Striker. And now, I don't know how big this guy's hand is. I'm assuming he's not Andre the Giant. So it is a fairly small, fairly small, which is cool. Again, I think this looks good, and it hits every nostalgic feel of that Sky Striker. And people that can't afford it, you can have this. You have the same missiles. Now, from this angle here, you can definitely see the kibble that's on it. But hey, you know what? You can start adding all kinds of weapons and stuff to it. Which, hey, why not? It's your Sky Striker. Richard Mark says, my Sky Striker Haslab is still in the box. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. All right, why is it still in the box? And I mean this wholeheartedly. If you open your stuff up, that thing has a wonderful stand to make it bank. It doesn't take up too much space. If you have just a corner for it or a shelf for it, but that stand is awesome, and it's smaller than this damn thing behind me, and I mean that. So anyway, here's the figures. I think we've talked enough about these little things, and here we have it in the sand. I don't know how they parked the Sky Striker in the sand. I know how the Hiss got there. I don't really know how they got an F-14 there. It seems pretty problematic. Probably not going to fly out, but we also saw the comics, and they flew into space. If I was to go to Legion's Con, I would make a swig. But if I'm not going to Legion's Con, I'm not going to. And I would love to go to Legion's Con. I would just say I don't see it happening next year. But hey, who knows? Financially, things may change. I still got to make sure I have the financial means to make it to Jill Fest. But let me say something, Terrence, about you were at both of them. You were at both of them, so you would have a good idea. It seems to me like Legion's Con had the exact same feel as Jill Fest. Most of the people were staying at that hotel. So you're just hanging out in the lobby after hours. So I feel like you really had the same feel as Joe Fest. And that is what again, that's why I thought Joe Fest was so awesome. It's great that it's a G.I. Joe convention, and that's what we're into. But it was just being there with all these people that have like interests just like us. And I feel like that's what Legion's Con really looked like. That was just, another 3 or 4 days packed like that. So I would love to make it there. There's no doubt about that. All right, on to some actual G.I. Joe. And a bunch of classified figures leaked. I think mostly from, is it Weeblo? And one from some from J-Con. It's odd. They're not from S-Con. They're just from J-Con. Anyway, here is our first look at Heavy Duty, who is a character I could give two shits less about. Although I think the figure looks really good. I even think all of his accessories look really cool too. I was just never a fan of this figure. He did come out after my time. But even as they did the G.I. Joe movie and they tried making Heavy Duty rather than going with Roadblock to begin with, I hated it. Now, there have been people that are unhappy when a G.I. Joe, there are people that, I had people say, some guy started an argument about the Dragonfly here, saying that it doesn't have a rear rotor. That thing would just spin around. It can't really fly. Yet here's a fucking guy that has 2 miniguns on the side of his fucking head. He's got rocket launchers that have 4 fucking rockets on either side that he's going to fire off, and he's walking around with a computer desk. Yet some people want to sit here and say, well, that Dragonfly, that helicopter wouldn't really fly in real life. Yeah, no shit, asshole. You know why it wouldn't fly? Because it's a fucking toy. That's why it wouldn't fly, all right? So every now and then you have to have a suspension of reality. Remember that you were a kid at one age, and that is what G.I. Joe is based off of. So anyway, looking at this guy, I think the character looks cool. I think the figure looks cool. Still not a fan of the character. Not sure if I'll ever be a fan of this character. If you like aliens, this guy fits in perfect with being one of the Marines. I think he fits absolutely amazing as one of the Marines. He would just get yourself some aliens, get yourself some predators, and this guy should be right in the thick of everything. 44D2 says he'll make a good Mr. T. Yeah, you know what? I mean, everyone's already got the head. So you have B.A. Baracus right there. Hopefully he's a little bit bigger than the other figures. Just another Anderson. It would too fly. It would definitely fly. And B's Battleground joining us. Heavy Duty was one of my first Joes. And you know what? Again, if you like them, awesome. I mean, I'm gonna buy them. I already have them pre-ordered. I mean, who am I to say anything? But just not my. And again, I like a lot of stupid stuff that the Joes have. I really do. All right, some of them never made any sense. Yet I thought some of them were actually pretty damn cool. But yeah, this is again, I think I like the hats. I like the head sculpt. I think it comes off looking really good. And the fact that they give you two different head sculpts, one with the hat forward and the hat backwards. I don't fully understand why they do stuff like this, because they're showing that we can make hats. Hell, if you have Wild Bill, I asked Lenny, hey, could you just give us a hat without hair? And other people asked, and they did that. And then come to find out, that hat without hair fits perfectly on the figure with hair. They didn't need to make the extra head sculpt. Like, there is absolutely no reason for the other head sculpt, because that hat fits on so perfectly. It looks the exact same. Just another interesting. So how do planes fly without a rear rotor? Because they don't have a rotor spinning on top. I just like, it's the stuff that people will argue. Like, dude, it's a fucking toy that looks pretty fucking badass, right? But like, the fact that you're gonna tell me that I can't fly, and I'm going, dude, I'm a grown man buying action figures. All right. I'm a grown man that thinks that in my reality, the United States military couldn't look at Cobra and be like, can we get 16 SEALs to go in and just obliterate these fuckers in, I don't know, a matter of days? And they could probably get rid of, Cobra. We live in a world where, oh, hey, there's a thing called Cobra Island. Huh. How could we ever destroy that? It only has a big terradrome on it. But we can't, like, come on, guys. The guy's probably listening right now, like, I'm never listening again. I just didn't understand the argument. I didn't. I don't understand why you argue that anyway. Hurricane Live says, it's a mass car. It flies. It's a Poco. It pounces. It just works. Exactly. I can't remember if Airwolf have a rear tail rotor. I believe it does. Airwolf is a real helicopter. So now there is something in the actual back, I believe, like that gyrator or whatever it is. They actually say what it is on the back of it. I forget what they said it was. That does help with actual helicopters. They do make them like that, from what I believe. If someone is a pilot here that knows about helicopters, or they can tell you. Again, it's toys, man. It's fucking toys. But anyway, I've looked at Heavy Duty way too long. All right, so here we have a picture. Now I got all these. I got all these from the Full Force. Again, I think most of them come from. What I say it was Weeblo. Weeblo, and then the other one, J-Con, he puts his watermark over it, so you know that's where it's coming from. 3-star says it's no longer a real. It's no longer a real soon-to-be helicopter though. Exactly. Yeah, Weebo. I said that Weeblo. Weeblo is what you become after you become a Cub Scout. Then you become a Weeblo, and then you become a Boy Scout. Anyway, here is our Footloose, no head. So I guess maybe they haven't just got to getting Pascal's rights to use his actual head, since they clearly couldn't get it for. They can't get it for the Mandalorian, because God knows none of those look like Pedro Pascal. Some people have argued that this looks nothing like Footloose. To the point where I went down and got my actual Footloose, which I think I actually took them back downstairs because I don't know when the hell this thing's coming. This looks exactly like Footloose. The face sculpt and everything. Exactly what I would think making a 6-inch version of it would look like. Grizzlehorn jumping in here. Hey, you need to hit that like button. Yes, please hit that like button. Also, hit that subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed, as we all know YouTube will sometimes remove you from channels that you do watch. So please make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't. So I do think I'm perfectly okay. Not that I think I'm perfectly okay with them classifying stuff up, but a lot of people aren't. Now that I know we're also getting the retro, I like to see something more classified. So when you do give me a retro, I have something different. But because I never know if I'm going to get the retro, what I do have to say about this is they give him the small bazooka or rocket launcher. I don't know what it's called. It's probably a one-shot. I love the fact that it has the little mouth on it. They give him the M16. What they don't give him is the sling. And I know this sounds kind of stupid, but when you got one of your O-ring figures and they had a sling on it, there was something very special about it because there were so few that had slings. We used to call them straps. Come to find out, they're called slings. I really wish that they would have put a sling on this. I'm not a big fan of the scope on the M16. I just wish it wasn't on it. It doesn't look bad. I do think this is one of the better weapons. I love the magazine, and I will say this again, if you have a bunch of these that maybe you're not using, and you also have Valiverse weapons, if you take a little bit of sticky tack and use that magazine, the Valiverse weapon will no longer look like it has a little itty-bitty tiny mag. Makes it look much better. But the backpack, the helmet, everything looks really good. So this is Footloose. And this looks like he has an extra magazine, which you can see in the back. So it's very similar to what the Cobra Trooper had. Or not Cobra Trooper, the Cobra Officer. He has the magazine in the back. So Tony's Fig says, and there are helos without the tail rotors. They use a Notar. Look it up. I know. I know. I literally said that. But there's something on the back of it that talks about that. Again, I'm not the one arguing. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I mean, we're all anticipating a Fang which has no canopy, and clearly, I could only imagine what the decapitation rate on the Fang actually is, because it's got to be pretty damn high, whether you're wearing a helmet or not. Okay. Punisher Bro says, "Okay, just hit the like button. Thanks." All right. So anyway, here's the back of him. Again, I'm really anticipating Footloose. He was always one of my favorite figures. And I know when it was people were asking, I saw a lot of people saying they don't like Footloose, which I just don't get it. Bees Battleground says fang decapitation, not seatbelts. Well, we do know Hasbro loves their seatbelts, all right? They are very seatbelt heavy, all right? So here's a closer shot of him, and I looked at him, and if I remember correctly, he has the grenades or the flashbangs that are up on top the same way. So here's all his weapons, just a little bit closer look at it. And thank God we don't get that stupid. And I'm glad that B is here. Thank God they don't give us that really stupid early pistol because everyone hated that. Here we have order, right? Order, right? Law is the character. Order is the dog. I'm going to assume this is either not a final or this picture isn't that good. Because so far their animals have kicked ass. This picture here, you can see that there's a lot of blur to it. Here he is from the side. Now, it does not look like he uses. He does not look like he uses the same buck. Now, obviously, there's a tail on it, so that's different. But I don't think he uses Junkyard's buck at all, because this creature, this dog, looks way less muscular than Junkyard. So it'll be really cool if we get extra, different dogs, different animals. But yeah. Justin Other Anderson says, I'm worried about Law. I hope you're not actually worried about how it's going to look. The last thing that I'm worried about anything with the Joe team is their animals, because they've knocked it out of the park with every single damn animal. But yeah, he says, and I'm going to catch some flack for this, but I like the Action Force Praetor and Guard figures for Iron Grenadiers more than the bats they made for it. It looks like something Mars would create. I don't know why you take any flack for it. It's a good looking figure. I mean, I don't collect Valibers anymore, but it's a good looking figure. So, I mean, I could use them. If I see exactly what you're saying, I could see that being used for like the Iron Grenadiers. I was using my Action Force bad guys for Serpentor's Coil. Like that's what I called his little group. But no, I don't think so. I mean, it's a good looking figure. I don't think many people that can be objective have any problem with it. So I don't think you can catch any flack for it at all. But just looking at this, I'm really excited for Law and Order. I'm just excited for another animal pack. Here we have our first look at Blowtorch. Matthew says, I use Elite Pretoria as Joe androids. They don't seem like they're good guys, though. Again, I don't have one in hand, so I don't know. And I never thought of Joe needing androids. Because, good guys don't need that, I guess. But yeah, hey, if it works for you, man, I mean, it works for you. I have no problem with people taking the Action Force stuff and, how they're going to slot it into the G.I. Joes. Because I think a lot of people are going to do that with Operation Monster Force and all the other stuff Fresh Monkey Fiction is doing. There's going to be a lot of slotting that stuff in there. So it definitely is going to work. There's no doubt about that. All right, so here's Blowtorch. I will say this. Looking at this paint scheme, it seems better than what I remember seeing on the digital. The digital, something just really was off. I still think the silver plates on them, whatever they are, I don't really know what they are. I think once we get it in hand, it's going to look a little bit better. I don't understand the purpose for them. I understand that the original one had it, but they were all red. I just think the silver kind of pops a little too much. They really dulled out the yellow, where it's more of a mustard. So it does tell you that if they do a retro card, we're going to get way closer. The knee pads, they just look off. And they remind me of a skateboarder that has baggy jeans, skating vert, that's wearing knee pads around the jeans where they're all kind of bunched in. So, but yeah, so I think this looks better than what I was actually looking at before. Here's the back of them. Same thing, knee pads. At least they wrap the knee pads around so it actually looks like it's on some sort of elastic band that's holding it together. Yes, Rector. Rector protectors. I believe Rector is gone now. Now it's Protect. Protector is one of them. The other one is I forget what the other one was. There's another one that's really big that Tony Hawk and all them wear now. So yeah, I'm with you. I just think the pictures never do it justice. Under I don't say they never do it justice, but there have been plenty figures that I have gotten that I'm with you. That like once you got it in hand, Road Pig, perfect example. Like, what the hell? Like I thought this face was gonna be awful, and then when you actually saw it in person, it was really, really good. So I'm with you with that. Soul Brother number 1 has joined us. What's good, Lawrence? Yeah, my Joes and Action Force work peacefully together. It's funny because the owner can't work peacefully with G.I. Joe, the G.I. Joe team. Coco Smooth, the casual collector. I hope it looks better in real life because, yikes, I don't think it looks bad. I think this looks better than what it was shown. So, just my personal opinion. All right, so this one popped up today. Thank you to the Full Force from JCon7. If you can't figure out that it's JCon7, he put his watermark all over the place. And this is for a figure I don't know. I can't think of Dark Lion, I think. I don't know if this is like the colors he's supposed to be because I know nothing about the character. So I'm not even going to try and act like it because everything that I see on this figure, I don't really care for. Other than it looks like he's using the same pistol that they gave to Tunnel Rat. I think that's the same one. But he has this big, weird gun. Again, this is after my time. All right. So this is after my time. So I fully understand that if this is in your age bracket, this is what you absolutely loved, then awesome. You know? So he has this dagger. He has a big giant sword. He has this, and it looks like an airsoft gun. It looks like it has an O2 cartridge on it. But I don't know what his character is, what his lore is, right? So maybe once I find out what his lore is, how he fits in with G.I. Joe or Cobra, I'll be like, this thing is really awesome. But every picture that I've seen, I'm just like, yeah, that's the G.I. Joe figure they made in the 90s or late 80s. I don't even know when it was. So here's the first look at him with no head. I don't understand why they're not showing heads in these things. Well, it does. Like, you know, Coco Smooth, you see what I'm talking about, right? It looks like there's like an O2 cartridge at the top there. Or like one of those like big Nerf, like automatic cannons that fires like a shitload of bullets at once. Private George says he's one of my Iron Grenadiers. So yeah, that would have been like I remember when the Iron Grenadiers came out and I loved them, but that was right at the end. TNC jumps in here, though it was Destro's bro like 89 or something. Yeah, late 90s or late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, okay. Okay, so US Combat Dojo says he's Destro's. Okay, so all right. So people had made that comment. I thought people were just making the comment as a joke. Are you saying in the comic he's actually Destro's cousin? I guess is what you're trying to say to me. Todd, I don't. I'm not saying I'm happy about it. I mean, you can say that you don't, maybe you're disappointed. Doesn't mean you're like unhappy. Like, hell, we're getting GI Joes. If I don't want it, I don't have to pick it up. B says he's just hoping for an unmasked head from him. So I have no idea what he would look like. I mean, I don't know if he's actually. All right. So according to Darren, he is Pop Blunder. So he is Destro's Pop Blender to Darren. All right, and here we have the Frag Viper. Now I don't even remember the Frag Viper, and I talked about this before, other than seeing him in pictures and stuff that I knew that he was. I don't remember seeing him on the shelves. I think this figure looks really good. Like, to me, this is a Cobra Trooper right here. I hope, please, I have no issues with the machine pistols he has or whatever they are, but please don't be the stupid soft plastic that you gave with Shockwave, because those things will literally wrap right around his legs if he's sitting in a box. Those guns are so soft. They're awful. But as for this figure, I mean, first, when I take Roman to Petco to get his nails done or anything like that, I see I see the tennis ball thrower, and that's what this is. All right, this is a tennis ball thrower. So he should be coming with an animal, right? He should have an animal companion for sure. But yeah, I like this. Someone had made a comment about, these grenades. Well, I believe they're supposed to be grenades that are more like shaped like a mine, right? So they're shaped like a mine. That's why they're coming out of this tube the way they are. And then when you look at the projectile, how he's throwing it, it is, like a skateboard wheel more than anything. And you can see them all in the backpack. So to me, I have no connection to this figure, but this is exactly what I want to see from Classified. Figures that maybe I had no connection to, or new figures that they're creating that I just look at and I think they look fucking awesome. And they've done that with almost every single one so far. Profit Director says Frag Viper is a pass for me. See, I saw this one and I was like, man, I like that. When they showed off the promo pictures, the digital render. So, how about those crybabies that rant about Haslab politics and Haslab unboxing videos? Hey, you know what? I don't care. It's more content for me. More content for me, Todd. That's all I know. Are there people still complaining about people doing unboxing because you can just pass by them? I don't. This Viper reminds me of Miami Vice intro when they were throw balls at with the same hook. God, it's been a long time. But now I have the Miami Vice music going in my head. Thank you for that, Coco Smooth. Anyway, I'm excited for this figure. This is one that, like I said, I knew nothing about, but even when I see him now in the books, I saw him at Sergeant Red's. That's a figure that I would definitely like to pick up as an O-ring. It just, to me, he is Cobra. He's what Cobra should be. I remember that. Crack it in tubs. All right. So we're gonna remove it. That's all the Joe. It's all the Joe news. All that stuff has come out, and this is all stuff that we already know is coming. But it is nice to actually see what the colors are going to look like, or at least what we think the colors are going to look like. I don't know when the next shit's coming. Like, I'm looking at my channel going, is my channel going to be dead by the time the next Joe wave comes? Because there's not very much coming. I mean, according to the dates, there's no No Joe's coming to the middle to the end of next year. Now, we got no support team for this thing behind me, which was odd. I assumed that we would. I still think that we will. I just wonder, like, when are they going to announce anything like that? I thought that as this thing was dropping, they would have had some sort of ground support. We know we're getting the All Striker sometime next year, or at least a release. I can't imagine that they wouldn't, considering, we know that Claw is going to come at some time, the Battle Bunker, whatever it's called. But they're doing very well with vehicles. So I don't think you want to go a whole year without any vehicles out there. So I don't think you want to go a whole year without any vehicles. Well, the Rattler will come. God, that thing's going to be big. All you people that want bigger fucking vehicles, I wonder if any of you even fucking got this goddamn thing, because this thing's fucking huge. So let's talk a little bit about the Haslab. What my feelings are on it, and what I hear on the internet, these interwebs. And oh my gosh. Oh, wait a minute. What is everyone said? Oh, I love when people are living in the past. Airborne is in the past. Maybe when he hits this part, he'll jump to the future, just like Spaceballs. Where are we now? This is now. All right. So I cannot say that the Dragonfly has been perfect. There's obviously some QC issues. We've seen a lot of leg breakage. I don't say a lot. We've seen leg breakage. I want you guys to think about this. I don't know the numbers, but I would assume that there's 28,000 of these made. So that means there's 28,000 figures. That run is probably more than any one run of any Valaverse figure. And this is not me putting down Valaverse. I'm just trying to put it into perspective. We've seen some QC issues in Valaverse. And yes, they've all been addressed. So it's not about addressing it. And I've said this before, when you do see issues, you almost always see every time there's a problem. You don't always see when things are great. So there have been some breakage in the legs. Now, I'm assuming that this is probably the exact same issue that happened with the early Valaverse Swarm. They had the exact same thing where the legs were the barbell was breaking off. This is one of the problems with drop-down hips, but there's probably a bubble or something in it that was in some of them that is causing them to break. And I think a lot of it also has to do with when these were delivered, that a lot of us live in cold areas and they're just kind of grabbing them and breaking. If you haven't opened up your figures, please, after you open them, throw them in hot water for about 1 minute to 2 minutes. Slowly break the joints or break the articulation. I don't mean break it, just move it nice and slow. Work it in there to make sure that it doesn't break. From what I'm understanding is if you do have a broken figure, you have to send it back and they'll send it back and then they'll send you another one. I don't want to do that because I've had good luck with Hasbro, but they have a tendency to not send you the fucking same figure that you bought. And it'd be total bullshit, especially if it is if it's a Haslab. Now, I don't think that they would do that, but I also am not going to say they wouldn't do that because they have a tendency to do some stupid ass shit. Remember, this is a corporation. It's not dealing with Valaverse where they're like, okay, well, you know what? You bought a swarm. We're going to give you a swarm back. Hasbro does stupid stuff. There is no doubt about that at all. Yes, work the joints. Roll Keeper has joined us. Richard Burns has joined us. Thank you guys very much. Yes, Tatsy says, don't trade in your Glenda for a grunt. Now there's the canopy issue. Now, I heated up my canopy with the blow dryer. I don't think it really mattered. You have to be very careful. It is a very rigid plastic, which it should be. But the way that it pops open, I can see why these things are breaking. So I don't know how they're going to fix that. Like, I feel, and Bobby B's here. I think they said January they'll get replacements. But what the fuck's the use of a replacement if you don't fix the actual problem? That would be my biggest fear. So just be careful, because I have a feeling they're not going to replace it. I don't think they're going to modify it and fix it. If they do, they should send one out to everyone that backed this so they can have it. And if you have one, you can see exactly what I'm talking about, the way it snaps up. It actually makes sense because they want it to stay open, but it is kind of fearful of how it can break. Tripwire said, Punk, would you say the Dragonfly is worth $500 in the aftermarket? I think it is worth whatever somebody will pay for it. That's not a great answer. Do you want a Dragonfly? Do I think 500 is too much? I think 500 is too much if I'm buying it from Hasbro directly. Aftermarket, the fact that these things do not really lose their value. If you buy it for 500, you'll probably be able to piece it out and get it for 500. Get 500 back for it later. If you like it, I would say yes, it's worth it. I mean, it is a beautiful looking beer. It's a beautiful looking thing. It's large. All right, it's fucking almost 3 feet long. And remember, the Rattler is going to be just almost as long and just as wide. So if space is a problem for you, it might not be something you want to get. But do I think 500 is too much? If you weren't able to get it, if you're just getting into the line, yeah, I don't think so. But again, it's worth whatever you're willing to pay for it. And it's, I didn't think that the Vanguard was worth the $185 for what the detail that I saw. Do I think this thing was worth $275 with 4 figures? Yeah, I really do. But some people look at the Vanguard and said it is a great fucking price, and that's what they wanted. So it works for them. If I had $500, I didn't get this, I was just getting into the line, I would spend $500 on it, yes. Because it does give you the nostalgia feels. Only if you're getting all the figures. If you're not getting the figures, no, 500 is not worth it. 300 tops. All right? But been a lot of stuff that people have complained about. And we got to go to Glenda here. So, this is my Glenda. And I have no issues with Glenda. I mean, I have an issues with the feet. All right, it's Scarlett's feet. That's why she doesn't stand that well. The toes tend to come up, so it makes her easier to rock and fall over. This is an issue with that foot for all the Scarlett's quarrels, whatever. I have heard people say they screwed up on this. They should have made her green. They should have gave her the green color to go with the Dragonfly. I have also heard people say, I don't like this figure. It looks too much like a Marvel Legends. Let me explain something to you. It does not look like a Marvel Legends figure. It does not look like a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. If anything, a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent looks like her because, oh my gosh, look at this. Back in the 80s, this is what she looked like. So if you take off the web gearing, look what you have. You have this exact figure. So once again, This is people on the internet that have no problem thumbing out or typing out a fucking comment, but they have a huge problem going to fucking Google and saying, let me find out who Glenda for G.I. Joe is. And then you would find out, oh my gosh, this is a character that has existed long before I realized it. Also within this character, as you can see, you get Flash's gun. So Flash is clearly coming. Tripwire says 425 ship would be great, but don't think I'll find it. I'll see them for 500-ish. Yeah, you can get one for 500, but if you look around, you might just find it for around $450. But it depends on how bad you want it. Like if you want it and you have the $500, and then get it, man. I wouldn't waste time trying to figure out. Lone Dragon says, when does Lawrence think S.H.I.E.L.D. agents were in the comics? Okay. Lone Dragon, wait. This was what? 83, 84? Even if the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents were there, all right, people are acting like they painted this to look like a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. Like the G.I. Joe team was just too dumb to figure it out. Oh my God, I didn't even realize this. And yes, if you really want to get really down into the fucking lore, G.I. Joe was supposed to be part of fucking S.H.I.E.L.D. So we can go down that road all we fucking want. The point is, that's not how people are looking at it. People are looking at the recent S.H.I.E.L.D. agents that Marvel has just produced, that Hasbro has just produced, that she looks like that. Not realizing that this character has been around for a longest time. I'm not really going to go down that road with you right now. And I've heard people complain about the face sculpt. I don't understand what is so bad about this. I really don't. It looks no worse than Scarlet or Quarrel. It looks pretty damn good. And this is a good figure other than the feet. And that has nothing to do with this figure. That has something to do with how they designed it. They did the same thing with the Crimson Guard. They've done the same thing with the ninjas. The toes come up and they cause a fucking problem. So no, Lone Dragon, she looks like Quarrel. She looks like how they designed her back in the 80s. So, anyway. Crazy Legs. I cannot... If Crazy Legs broke, it broke. Like, I can't justify that. I have a lot of people here that all we're hearing about is this face sculpt looks awful. There's no paint around the eyes. I'm not really sure what everyone is. I'm not really sure what everyone has a problem with. He has dark eyes. From what I can tell, he has pupils. They're just hard to see because he has dark eyes. He has white around the eye because your eye is white. He has the eyebrows. He's just very light skinned. He even has some facial hair. But people seem to have such a fucking problem with this figure. And I don't really understand what it is. The face sculpt does not look bad. It doesn't have a lot of paint because it doesn't need a lot of paint. So I'm just a little confused on that. He has Sharpie eyebrows. Well, I mean, his eyebrows are shaped. I mean, technically, everything is Sharpie eyebrows. And Woody 222 jumps in with my eyes are always red. Backwood 78 has joined us. He looks like the guy from Snake Eyes, the movie. No, he looks like Ezra Miller. I mean, I hate to say that, but he does look like Ezra Miller. I think this figure is really good. I love the gun. the collapsible stock. I think it is awesome. I am so happy with that gun. Something new, and the aesthetic on this figure is completely new. He's almost, I think, completely new figure. Same with Airborne, and not Airborne, Ripcord. So here's Ripcord, another issue that people seem to have an issue with. There's no paint around the eyes. What paint do you want him to have? I'm confused. You know, he has his eyebrows, his hair looks good, he has pupils, and he has white around the eye. If this was a Woody figure, he'd have red. He's not wearing eyeliner. So I don't know if you want Boy George or what. But there's absolutely wrong with this. Oh, yeah, I see the David Caruso. I think the back of the package, I said he looks like Conan, the talk show host. I have heard people saying that he is, that they're lighter and using cheaper plastic. The only thing that I have noticed completely that is different is that their shoulders are on a ratchet. The other ones do not have a ratcheting system. He does. All of them do. And he uses the exact same buck that is our buddy Wild Bill. Boots are different. Forearms are different. And he has a different neck piece, but it's the exact same buck. So it's a flight suit. We're going to get more of them as we go along. And let's see here. I saw Baldy has joined us. Looks like Roy Kent. Yeah, I definitely see the David Caruso. If you don't know who David Caruso is, look him up. Once you see him, you'll be like, oh, okay. Jay Solo Arts. If anything punk, these guys look like they suffer the same face paint issues as Super 7 G.I. Joe Ultimates Wave 2. Okay, so I think what people are having an issue with is that they're as light-skinned as they are. And that's what they're supposed to. And I understand what people are saying. But most of their head sculpts on the Joe figures are not painted. You know, they're not actually painted. They're sorry. They're not painted. The color of the plastic is what they want the skin tone to be. Now, if you have a problem with that, I guess I can understand that. The problem with the Super 7s were they paint their face sculpts and they weren't anything what they were supposed to be before. So that's where, it seems to be something weird. But I don't have an issue with this at all. I don't have an issue with these figures at all. Someone said they feel lighter. They don't feel lighter. I don't know where anyone gets that from. It just feels like they're now putting a ratcheting system in some parts of them. Now, that does make me wonder if where they were designed, if there's just an issue with those drop down. I hate drop down hips. I've talked about that before. Not a fan of those. So, but I want to discuss these. I just want to discuss the face sculpts because I don't think they're nearly as bad as what everyone says they are. And I think a lot of people are looking at them through a camera lens, that they're not actually having them in hand. A lot of people are looking at them through a box because for some odd reason they don't want to open up their figures. So as for the actual design of this thing, the interior cockpit is absolutely amazing. As I said, Blind Prime really, watching his review, I saw all kinds of things that I didn't see. That there's defrosters that are up front that I would not have noticed. I totally missed that there's handles, that there's the shifter on the side. There's a lot of stuff that I missed because when doing the review, I think there was just so much going on, so much to do that I totally missed, that I missed shit. So completely, that's on me. I haven't watched a bunch of other reviews. I only watched a couple. But when he talked about it, and then I went and looked, I'm like, oh my God, it's all right there. I do think that there are some, if you go back to the butterfly, the fact that the butterfly doesn't work as well on the figures, you cannot get that stick. I move my hand. You cannot get that stick to be in the middle. God damn it. I can't say, no matter how you do it, you just can't, right? So I guess we just need to.
Here comes the money.
Nope.
That's what she said.
You can't, like, he's always going to be turning one way or the other. When he's trying to fly the Dragonfly, that ship's always going one way or the other because he can't get it directly in the middle because of how unfortunate it is with their the butterfly joints. But Wild Bill, I had mentioned earlier, I had sent a message to Lenny about, hey, could you give us an extra hat? Because people want to do photography with him holding the hat and having his hair on. And he said, yep, a lot of people have mentioned that. We're looking into it. And they did that. That was awesome. But if you have Wild Bill and you put the hair on him and then you put the hat without the hair on it, and then you look at the hat with the hair, it's the exact same. It fits perfectly. So there's no reason to even give us that head sculpt. They could have just had the hair on there. The glasses will stay on. There are little notches. All you have to do is put it there and push them, and they stay on pretty well. But you will lose them in that thing. So be sure that you pop the thing out before you put everything on them. You put him in there with the seatbelt on. Take the hair, the helmet, and the glasses off. Put the seatbelt on. Seatbelt's a bitch to get on. And then pop it on. Then put everything on them. Also with the seatbelts, due to the anyone that has holsters, take the thing out slowly because if you kind of yank it out, they'll grab around the seatbelt and they'll rip them out. So you want to be really careful with that. Will R says, I put the extra hat on Glenda because she's a wild bitch. Were you the one that put that on? I think you posted that. I saw someone post that earlier today. But all in all, I think this thing is a really nice vehicle. The blast effects, how they should look. All right. These things are nice and solid. They're not going to droop. They're not going to sag, which is awesome. The missiles are not that soft plastic that we get with like the Stinger and stuff, so we don't have to worry about any of that. What is disappointing is that this should have been made to also fit on the HMS. Now you can put this on the back of the missile, so the missile is launching off it, but they should have made this so we could pop it on top of the HMS to make it actually launching one of its missiles off of it. All right. What I will say is the interior lights are awesome. The other lights, they're not as cool as the Hiss tank. The Hiss tank with the Cobra symbol, there's something really cool about that. But these lights here, like the spotlight doesn't spotlight. It lights up a spot. I feel like you want to have an actual spotlight where you have the circle around it, the same way that the Hiss does with the Cobra symbol. But I don't want to judge or symbol or anything or Dragonfly. But there's just something that I'm like, yeah, it has lights. That's pretty cool. The interior lights are really what set everything off. I think the interior lights on this are better than what's on the Hiss. But the Hiss, when they open up from the back, it's really cool. They have the tail lights. In my opinion, those things work a little bit better than how these lights are. But all these blast effects, the other thing, these blast effects, if you have them, they do work with your Hiss. So they work for both the chin cannon and for the main cannon. We've been waiting for something like this. So eventually I would assume that they should probably start selling something like this, a pack of these. But everything else on it, I thought they did a wonderful job. And I don't have a problem. We didn't really wait. They said, hey, this, we're hoping this would ship, or we're expecting it to ship. They give you the 18-month window, and that's pretty much when it came. I think 17 months after. If I'm wrong, Matthew, you should know, right? I think it came like 17 months after. Speaking Moist, he says, overall, Dragonfly is awesome. Yes. Yeah, I mean, you have to be very careful. Now, as for the size of it, if you don't have it, let me just kind of, I mean, this thing is really, really large. All right? And you end up smacking stuff. As I was trying to do the review, I seem to be hitting everything. I was hitting the backdrop in the back, like knocking that thing over. It is a space killer. And when the Rattler comes, even more space. And some of you want even bigger vehicles. Now, I think that this is perfect for the Haslab. Because right now, I'm looking at this going, this is the size of a Haslab. And you talk about a dream project. I mean, people can sit there and fucking say that, hey, you know what? Valaverse did that Vanguard for $185. And they didn't have to, do it as a crowdfund or however you want to call it. That's all well and great. It's not to the magnitude of this thing. I think the Rattler's going to be even bigger. So I'm okay with doing smaller vehicles, keeping those going. Again, if you don't want them, you don't need them. Failed suicide band. I don't think it's an unpopular opinion. A lot of people like it. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's not a bad vehicle. All right. I think the talk and the hype of it, and then I get it, and there's very little detail to it. I don't care what anyone says. That dashboard is so plain that it's sad. There's very little detail to it for what it was talked up to be, right? It's a decent looking vehicle. But to me, it's a 6-inch vehicle. I have no attachment to it. Mr. Madgus says, Hasbro leaves a lot of money on the table. They should be selling blast effects like stands, foot stands, and all kinds of stuff. So I'm with you. Again, it all goes to the budget. Remember, this isn't Hasbro. I mean, Hasbro gives them a budget. G.I. Joe runs their own division. They have to decide what they want to do. And at this point, I would say yes. They really should have just a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, because you have the Vamp that needs some actual really good blast effects. Obviously, now you have the Stinger, the HMS, the Hiss tank. I'm sorry, the Hiss. Now the Dragonfly. All these things are going to, you have enough vehicles that you can start to create stuff like this. So, Pop Leonard says, I had my feet held to a fire. Or even tickled in whatever. I'd have to say I'm more excited for the Rattler. I really don't know. All right. And Failed says, I will agree. If I could afford to, I'd paint a Vanguard. And a lot of people did. Again, to me, I just don't think there was a lot of hype to it that we didn't get. And when I look at the detail on on the Stinger and the Vamp, it's been a long 2.5 hours. When I look at the detail on it, That's what I think it should be. Especially, you can't hype something up so much and then give very little, in my personal opinion. Well, that and that there failed is a whole different. That's a whole nother discussion. I don't have a problem with it because these aren't going to be made again, and the value does not go down. So, and I also know that I'm also going to get the product. Well, I don't know if I'm going to get it with some of these other crowdfunders, but I do understand why people don't like it. Bees Battleground says, before the Dragonfly, the Rattler had my vote, but a hydrofoil makes so much more sense to be a centerpiece for a collection as just a vehicle that sits too. Yeah, the hydrofoil, not happening. Sorry, Darren. Hydrofoil is not happening. Hydrofoil is not happening because the whale would happen for the hydrofoil. And if the whale happens, they can just give you the water moccasin, and that's big enough to put in to fight that. Where G.I. Joe really does not have a medium-sized boat that anyone cares about. Also, the whale is way cooler than the hydrofoil. And I'll be 100% honest, the water moccasin is actually cooler than the hydrofoil. You know what? I'll be 100% honest. I have no clue. If you were to ask me what the next Haslab would be, I would probably say a whale. It's going to be expensive. I think that if they do a whale, it's going to push the boundaries of what they can do. And the reason why I do say that is the whale, it can be used not only as a centerpiece, but a display piece where you can hold multiple figures, which is just like what B just said. Like that can hold two figures. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could put, two on the side here and you can have one hanging. But the whale, as much space as it would take up, you have two gunners, two pilots on there. You have the interior where you can hold multiple figures. It is a true display piece where you can use that as a dial. My personal opinion. But back to this thing here, and hearing people talk about it, I've heard, like I said, I talked about it earlier, a couple guys that argued about how this thing couldn't fly in real life. Again, we're adults buying toys that were based off stuff from the 80s. Is that really so bad that the thing couldn't fly in real life? I'm not planning on flying it. I know it looks like I am because of this. But contrary to what you guys may think, I wasn't really flying in there. And contrary to what some of you might think, I actually can't fit in there. I can almost fit in there. I'm that small, but I'm not really flying it. Wild Bill is not really flying me. But yeah, it is, I think that they did a wonderful job with this. Seeing all these blast effects, these are things that definitely they should pack up. Now, I feel like they're trying to give us a lot. I feel like they're trying to give us a lot to so we can use it in other ways, like these blast effects. I think that's why they're giving us all these scrap iron blast effects. We can use them on other things, all the different bazookas that they're giving us. But I want the actual missiles. I want the actual blast effects. These ones work, and they will fit on all the other ones. But I want ones that have them launching off like this. So I think this was a disappointment that they didn't find a way to make that so it actually fits onto the HMS also, so you can use it launching using one of those missiles. Yes, yeah, I know. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, that there are helicopters without tail. And again, it wasn't me arguing it because I don't really care. And I know, I pointed it out, if you take that back piece off, it is just like the original Dragonfly. That is supposed to be what counters it. But what this is actually built off of does have a tail rotor. Again, remember, the guys that were designing these, some of them were military guys. All the G.I. Joes, some of them were military guys. And no one really had a problem with it till now. Because people don't like Lenny, because Lenny doesn't know enough. And, he doesn't know anything about military. But it's like, again, giant corporation that says, you can't do this. They weren't even supposed to be able to do guns, like real guns. And we have Taz, who has jumped in here. Hi, Punk. How about the Haslab Conquest X30? So I don't think that they do another plane, although that might be the proper way to go, is make the Haslab's planes. But I said it earlier today on Facebook. I like the Sky Striker way more than the Conquest. But for a classified version, the Conquest makes more sense. It takes up less space. I don't think people even can fathom how big a Sky Striker would be. And then they probably give you blast effects for the engines. So how long would that be? Muda66 says, do you have to put down the money with the Haslab up front or when it ships? Once the campaign is over. So the campaign goes up for 6 weeks. Once it ends, that's when you pay for it. So for 18 months, you're out that money. You're just waiting for it to show up. And then when it shows up, you're like a kid in Christmas, and you don't think you paid for anything because you're like, I paid for it so long ago, it doesn't even matter. It's like getting a Mezco action figure. You're like, shit, I threw that money away 3 years ago. Oh my God, I got a Mezco. This is awesome. It's like a free figure that I paid for a long time ago. But yeah, so you do end up having it. Yeah, you do pay for it up front. And I know everyone says, oh, that's just money that Hasbro's collecting. Although people forget that they have to pay the designers. They pay multiple designers. Then they have to pay the people at the factory. Then they also have to pay to ship it over. They're not sitting on that $3 million or whatever they collected from the Rattler. Like everyone thinks like, oh, well, they just have everyone's working for free for them. They're just going to collect this money and just sit on it. Yeah, it doesn't really work that way. I've talked about this. I think a tactical battle platform would be, I think that would be a good Haslab because it would be its own table. So you have a display. You make it a table that sits up probably, 2 feet off the ground. You can raise the legs or lower it the same way. I have a really cheap table in my living room that my Roomba smashes into. It never knocks it over, doesn't break it. I don't know why you couldn't make a tactical battle platform that's the same way. And you can put the Skyhawk on it. You could have a little lip over it where you could put it so it looks like it'd be in the water, like a little piece where you could put the devilfish on it. You could create the armadillo, they could make them armadillo, put that right in the middle. There's a lot that they could do. I think that works because it becomes your diorama. It becomes your display piece. This, even though it is a display piece, it doesn't hold very much. Where, again, the Hiss actually holds a lot more. Airborne Custom says, Lenny may not have the military knowledge, but he does have people that do the research for him that know what to look for and provide specs. I should know. Yeah, and he does, and firsthand. But what I was saying is that people also tend to forget that there is this big, giant corporation that tells them they can't do certain things. And before anyone says, no, that's not true, I spent a lot of time at Joe Fest talking to Corey. And he let me know these aren't secrets that people don't know. They just don't want to believe it. Tragic Hero jumps in and says, hey, Punk, did anyone else think they skipped out on the port and starboard lights. I'm actually putting in the lights. I got some blinking lights for them tomorrow. I know what you're talking about. The fact that they left them red. You talking about these ones up here? That's what I'm assuming you're talking about. I just don't think that they really could do it because of the way everything has to connect. I think that's why the Hiss is so much cooler, because the tail lights and everything, that's all one big unit. Yeah. I think because the Hiss base is all one big, one big toy, they're able to do that. That is one of the things where, and I guess they could have. Me personally, I would have been happier if they would have made it so you can plug it into the USB and then it could be on all the time, rather than me have to turn around every 15 minutes and hit the button. That bothers me more than that. Bothers me even more when I look and see that they're doing it for that stupid fucking Ecto 1. That, hell, I don't even know if that thing's gonna fund. They still have like 3,000 a hit by now. Like, how is that thing not funded yet? Because, oh yeah, Ghostbuster fans don't give a shit about toys. I gotta drink something. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna take a quick second. What you guys need to do is go to Hella Dope Toys and buy some stuff while I sit back and take a breather.
Oh, hey guys. So Lawrence, he had to step away for a little bit. He's got a case of the grumble dust. So he asked me to kind of watch over a stream. He put me in charge of y'all. He said to me, "Oh, Moss Man, I have a case of the grumble dust, and I need you to watch myself for a little bit so nobody leaves and finds out that there's more interesting things to watch on YouTube. And also, I hate Ohio." So I was like, oh, dang, so now I have to come up with a topic for my very own show. And I was like, oh, what about talking about your favorite toy stores? So my favorite toy store is HelloDopeToys.com. So they used to have this really bad website. It used to look real scammy. Like if I gave them money, they were going to go spend it on like blow and hookers. But now their website is really nice. And like I can just go in and do like 1-2 click. And then my order's placed. And they ship super fast, guys. They ship everything in one business day. So like I get all my toys first. So when I'm out there on the playground and all my friends are like, oh, dang, Moss Man, where'd you get that action figure? I still have to wait 17 months for mine. And I'm just like, well, I went to HelloDopeToys.com and I just pushed the buttons and then they shipped it out to me. And the packaging is so nice, guys. Like, I opened up the box. I thought, oh, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this kind of packaging. It's so nice. But then my trash can gets full because of all the packing stuff. And I was just like, oh, dang, I just changed the trash. But now I gotta change the trash again. Oh, you're right, Matthew Matson. You can use the code APWT at HelloDopeToys.com and save 10% on your order. So how that works is, so you're gonna save 10%, and then a Punk with Toys, he has to pay that 10% that y'all save. So if you don't like Lawrence, you can just go to HelloDopeToys.com and just buy a bunch of stuff and rack up his bill. So then like at the end of the month, they're like, Hello Dope Toys is like, oh, Lawrence, you owe us $1 million because of all the 10% codes that everybody used. And yeah, that's how that works. Okay, guys, so it looks like it's time for me to go now. So make sure you go to HelloDopeToys.com and like and subscribe. And then in the comments, put what your favorite toy store is. But if it's not HelloDopeToys.com, I'm probably just going to delete it, okay? So, all right, guys, bye!
All right, so I want to mention this. So Lone Dragon said, I feel like Shark is one of the hardest we will have to get because they won't do it without Deep Six. And he has a hard design and classified scale. So this is the perfect time. This is the perfect example that you redesign a fucking figure. A fucking shitty figure. No one, and I mean no one, has ever said, you know what my favorite G.I. Joe figure was? Deep Six. Because he sucked. He was stupid. And you could do a shark, either a 1 or 2 man. 2 man might be kind of difficult because I've mentioned before when it comes to that scale. But I think it would be now seated up rather than laying down. You can do deep 6, but he'd be articulated, way different than what they did. So I think you could do a shark. I was never a fan of the shark, to be 100% honest. But I do think that it might work if he is seated up, and now you have this weird submarine plane that you can use, and you've redesigned and actually made a shitty figure cool.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Pop Blender with the $10 super chat. I had the Grumble Duffs once. Penicillin cleared it right up. You might want to talk to Ted. I don't think that's what he said the Grumble Duffs were. And if so, I do not have the Grumble Duffs. All right. Muda, I don't want anything like that. And I know that there's a different time frame for many of us. Even when I look at the Bug, it is a very interesting vehicle. I would love to eventually get one for the O-rings. It's not something that I would be like, man, I have to have that as classified. I do think that for the most part, when it comes to the vehicles, at least the bigger ones, they're going to stay more, they're going to try and do more grounded stuff. Or stuff that is more well known. I don't want to say grounded so much, because if we get a Cobra Stun, which I wouldn't be totally shocked at a Cobra Stun, it's more of an iconic vehicle. Now, so someone asked about what you could see as the next Haslab. The other one that I could also see is the Havoc, which is very, very iconic. It is an army builder. It became the Havoc can hold so many characters, so many figures, unlike the Mauler, which, if anyone saw Ramen's tank, and that's another problem that they're going to have, is how do they justify the price when Ramen's giving you one for $180? And the Ramen one is extremely nice. But he can store a lot of figures, but I do believe that the turret has to come off, and then you kind of place the figures in it. Because I think that thing's going to hold like 3 figures. So you get like the one, the commander on top, and then you get the 2 inside of it. So, and I know a lot of you guys have ordered that. So, I know Greg has ordered one. Guy that always drops off stuff for me to review and stuff. Oops. Yeah, no. You will never see the Confederate flag on a G.I. Joe figure. Just gonna say it right now. That is something I don't think that you will see. If they won't give you a hooded Cobra Commander, they ain't gonna give you a Confederate flag. Because one, they say speaks racism, and the other one actually does. And I'm sorry, Darren and Pop, but that flag has been taken over by a horrible hate group. How you look at it. But yeah, they're not going to give you a Confederate flag on any of the figures. And now maybe I'm wrong. And and maybe in 3 years they do one, and someone comes back and goes, "You're an idiot. What the hell do you know? Look at this. They put it on there." But I don't see them doing it. I just don't see them doing that at all. Yeah, like I said, I can't see them doing that, and for good reason, to be 100% honest. I won't even get into that, but for good reason. It's how it is. You are absolutely correct. And because when you are making a decision like Ace for Ramen is, you know that the General Lee from the Dukes of Hazzard, the Confederate flag on there, was not meant to be a racist statement. But Hasbro looks at it as this is a hate symbol now, and they're not going to put it on anything. And unfortunately, I fully understand that. I can't see them putting a swastika on anything. So I don't believe, even though I can't believe they actually did some of the characters in the Indiana Jones line, I don't believe that they put a swastika on anything. And remember, that symbol was not always meant for hate. It was one person that made it that way. But yeah. And it's unfortunate. It is. But you have to... I understand why they wouldn't do it. Alex says, "Evening, everyone. Sorry, I was watching Monday Night Football." Okay, dude. I know I tell people, hey, you can watch what you want. You want to watch Joe Jerk and Gaines because they go against me early on? I understand. Come back. I am fucking offended that you would watch the Cowboys. Not even Tony Romo. Tony Romo in here. The one that's probably a better quarterback than the one that played for them. Not even Tony Romo would watch the Cowboys over this wonderful shit show. Who won? Probably the Cowboys probably ended up winning, right? They probably finally ended up winning, and now they can keep Mike McCarthy. The Texans actually won. I'm not surprised. They should have, because wait, what was the score, guys? What was the score? I need to know what the score was. Because Matthew's saying Houston killed the Cowboys. I'm not surprised at all. I gotta know what the score is now. 34-10. Oh, that's nothing. I think the Lions just went and scored again on Jacksonville. All right, so speaking moistly, all right. So I said what my feeling on that should be. I fully think that the Thunder Machine should be a Haslab, where the tiers are extra pieces to make different types of Thunder Machines. Because the Thunder Machine was something that was, when you look at it, it has the Firebird front end, it has a big jet engine in the back, it has the 2 Gatling guns. You could do this, and your tiers would be a front end that looks like, let's say, a Dodge Charger. It doesn't have to be a Charger. Hell, you know what? Maybe they could use the Hell Charger front end, considering that thing never got funded. You could do stuff like that. But the more and more people tell me they can do the Thunder Machine without doing it as a Haslab. I do think if they do that, you're looking at $150. It's not going to be a $100 one. I would rather see that come as a Haslab with different things so people can customize it. Because also remember, let's say you buy one and it comes with a Dodge Charger front end. Even if you don't use it, there's now a dial piece. The main one comes with a jet engine, but you make it so it has a different type of engine on it, right? Dial pieces. So you're still building these weird, crazy dial pieces, especially for the Dreadnoughts. Then you have a whole garage and stuff like that. But the more and more people tell me is no, they don't need to do it. Because Lenny said that a Thunder Machine wouldn't have to be. And, he would know better than I would. But I think that would be a perfect thing. I think the size of the Rattler the raising of the price, removing a figure was a test to see if they are willing, if people are willing to spend a little more. And they found out, yep. Muda says, am I wrong that is why they don't make a hooded Cobra Commander? I saw someone else make a comment about it. Did you make the comment about the awful hate group that wears hoods? That is the exact reason why they will not make a hooded Cobra Commander. I did a video on it years ago. This is nothing that I found. I didn't break any news. Bobby Valla talked about it. I was told firsthand by Mark Weber, who worked on the G.I. Joe brand at the time. I have been told by other people that formerly worked there, that also, and one that works there now, that yes, the director of the G.I. Joe movies, Bonaventure, he said that he will not do a hooded Cobra Commander in the movies because he doesn't know how no one can see it, that it clearly looks like a member of a hate group, which it does not, nor has it ever. And even if it did, who the fuck cares? He's an evil organization of terrorists. That's the one thing that just really doesn't make any sense. He's an evil terrorist, right? He's like the worst person in the world next to the guy that used to be in charge of Germany, right? Anyway, he admitted to it, that he said this, that put it in the heads of these guys at Hasbro. Now, there are people that will argue with me and others about it. Although this has been confirmed, and not only did Bonaventure admit it, I've talked to people that worked at Hasbro firsthand, not like, hey, second, third, fourth. Two people that worked at Hasbro on the G.I. Joe team that said it. Bobby Valla talked about it on a stream many, I don't say many years ago because they haven't had the stream that long. Maybe like 2 years ago. He told the story. That's the reason why you're not going to get hooded Cobra Commander. That is the whole reason. And I'm not saying you'll never get a hooded Cobra Commander because you get the right people that come in, stockholders, shareholders, these people that sit there, and maybe one of them was like, dude, I fucking love that figure when I was a kid playing with it. That is the stupidest thing that I've ever heard. No, I take that back. The stupidest thing I've ever heard is that you leave Bonaventure in charge of the Transformers and G.I. Joe movies. That is actually the stupidest thing that I've heard Hasbro doing as of recently, that they haven't fired his fucking ass. Because you can make good movies. You don't have to make shit movies. Oh my God, look, we're almost at midnight. Almost 3 hours. We actually made it. But that is the reason. I did a video on it, and in the video, I actually put links to where I found this information. So it's not like, again, I didn't find anything that isn't readily available for everyone. There are many people that will they'll dispute it. They'll say that you're wrong, but it's like, all right, well, it just takes a little bit of research. I don't have any insights or connections that others can't get. So it's not like I'm some, like I have some special privilege that I find. You just meet people throughout it. And I have a feeling this guy here could probably also confirm what I just said. Speaking moistly, yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. But it doesn't change the fact that that's what they think. And one person put it in the minds, and again, Hasbro, like the Disney Corporation, they have specific agendas. or maybe there's lack there of agendas, I guess you could say. Now, before anyone says, whoa, Marvel Legends put out Baron Zemo, who is exactly that. Again, Hasbro just makes Marvel Legends. Marvel says, hey, we want these figures. They're kind of at the mandate of doing it, right? There are other figures that look way more closely tied to that hate group than anything Cobra Commander ever did. But that's why. And there's a reason why you don't see it. And someone argued with me that Jada, when Jada did their little metal figures, there was a hooded Cobra Commander. Well, if you look at the Jada Stinger that came with Cobra Commander, he's no longer hooded. That's a metal figure. They had to redo the whole design. I talked to somebody at Joe Fest who used to work at Hasbro, and he said, I really don't know about that, but I can tell you that's exactly what happened. It slipped through the cracks. Someone at Hasbro, the G.I. Joe, probably not the G.I. Joe brand, but someone there found out. They were reached out to him and said, you need to change that. And that's why they changed it before it came out with the Stinger. Band dudes band dudes even have pointy hoods. CC does not. Exactly. And it's an unfortunate thing. It's an unfortunate thing because until this happened, and I'll be the first one to say this, when Super 7 said that they got the rights to do the G.I. Joe Ultimates, he said the only thing that he was told that he cannot do is a hooded Cobra Commander. He would not say why. And everyone said, this is the reason. And I was like, that is the stupidest thing. It has nothing to do with that. Well, my dumbass did not do research. And as you did more research and you found out more people that spoke firsthand, and this was before I spoke to anyone, then you find articles and you have Bonaventure literally say it and quote, and he quoted, yeah, I'm the one that said that. He doesn't deny it. And then when you start talking to people that have firsthand knowledge, that even tried to get it overturned, and you realize they couldn't, well, you realize, well, I was the one that made the mistake, and sometimes you can't just speak out that quickly because you kind of sound stupid. But no kid ever looked at that and was like, oh my gosh, that guy really must hate Stalker and Roadblock. No one ever did that. No one ever did that. Exactly. And it's just, it's bad that they would even do that. Mr. Magga says, that's okay. That's why we have Fresh Monkey Fiction. Them hoods are on the way to be painted. I won't say that word because there are some words that unfortunately YouTube can pick up on, and I don't want to get demonetized, especially while I'm dealing with something else with here. But I don't know. That's 3 hours, guys. I mean, I can go on and on and talk about shit, but my ass does have to wake up in the morning because, contrary to what everyone says or believes, YouTube does not pay me that much money that I can do this all day. Cobra Commander, CC hates all Joes equally. Okay, so Airborne Custom said Bonaventure said it in 2009, and Hasbro pushed back for a while, and even continued using the hooded CC through retaliations, Dollar General, and 50th anniversary toy line. Yes, and those were actually pretty damn good figures for $3. Those are pretty good figures for $3. And again, I'm not. I understand when people say, "Hey, that's not what it is at all." I'm not arguing. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not arguing or disagreeing with you. It is dumb. I can understand certain things, you know. I mean, to me, I can understand why you would never do cross country with the Confederate flag. All right, that actually makes complete sense because that actual symbol has been taken and used with hate groups. Where the hood, the executioner hood, is not the same hood that has ever been used. I can't say ever, but is not historically associated with that other group. And through the course of doing this, I have talked to many, many, many Black Joe fans, and every single one of them has said, yeah, as a kid, I never saw that. As a kid, I never looked at that at Cobra Commander and said, why does he hate me more than he hates the other Joes? Like, it's so stupid. It goes to, once again, people looking to be offended before they're even offended. And you can really only be offended if you allow someone to offend you. Nope. You're absolutely right, Darren. They don't look even. There's nothing close. A matter of fact, if you look at Zartan, some of his artwork and his shadow, that looks way closer. That looks way closer. And here comes Thanos Copters. I'm offended. Oh, wait, no, I'm offensive. Yes. You're the one offending people with your Instagram stuff. So, anyway, thank you guys all for tuning in. I am going to bow out. But before I do, I have to ask you guys to please head on over to my two moderators who both have channels, both have shows tomorrow. We have Action Figs, Ed, him and Mr. Wonderful. They do a show at 9 p.m. I would play his commercial, but he won't give me one. But head on over there. Please drop a link to your show, Ed, if you're here. Matthew, drop a link to his show. And then also Matthew and Pop Blender, who are both in here right now. Before I do leave, I'm going to play this little ditty of a commercial that they gave me.
Idiots! Incompetent buffoons! What is it now, Commander? Consummate morons, incapable of coherent thought! Are you watching that show again? Yes. Why didn't you just watch Pop Blender and Matthew's discussions, news, reviews before the show came out? Whether you agree or disagree, the perspectives provide enough context to know if the show or movie is worth your time or not. Yes, I know. I will not miss another Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central on Pop Blender's channel. Be more than once a man by watching Pop Blender and Matthew talk about pop culture news, discussions, and reviews on Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. And now you know. Televiper, be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe so we do not miss another episode, and hit that bell notification.
All right, so that is a commercial for Pop Blender and Matthew show. Are you guys still calling it the Big Show, or do you change the name? I forget exactly what you guys were doing, if you guys changed the name or not. But anyway, I am going to get out of here. This Thursday, I will have Sharlock, who is going to be my guest on Thursday with a friend. There's already a link actually made. I actually already got the live stream set up and everything. I've been so behind with those lately. But yeah, please tune in. We got BX Medic. I believe that's the first time I've seen you before. Because we have another BMX guy, but this is BXM. Awesome Life Punk. Thanks for always being entertaining. You rock. Thank you very much. That means the world to me. Again, I love hearing good things about me. I don't hear them too often. But anyway, please tune in this Thursday. Sherlock Prime. He will be my guest. He'll be talking about himself. And we can probably find out a little bit about his customs. He did just win a mat. He won at what the hell's the codename Iowa is? Oh my God, it's gonna drive me nuts. But his Matt Tracker just won his custom Matt Tracker, and someone tell me what the name of the fucking that GI Joe convention that just happened last week. Not codename Iowa. It is assembly required. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sometimes things just pass you by. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys all Thursday, and then we'll see me again on next Monday when we'll start the breakdown for the Black Friday giveaway. Everyone have a wonderful night, and I will see you soon.
Better